and carry Annie.
Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hello, everybody. Welcome, and happy Thursday. It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we get into all the things going on in entertainment news, any hot topics, celebrity news, gossip, anything that's going on in the world of entertainment, we talk about it on this here show. So, before we get started, can you do yourselves a solid, and me, and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button, so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And I was going to do a show yesterday, but child, I was tired. I was like, I ain't in the mood. So we going to do one today. I'm going to give y'all some tea. We're going to spill the tea and all that good stuff. So we have a lot of stuff to get to. We're going to talk about Kylie Jenner. We're going to talk about the latest on that whole Alec, Baldwin, and the Heckler. We're going to talk about Kanye West getting into adult cinematography. We're going to talk about Ariana Biermann and her, her freaking clout chasing mother and the latest stunt her ass pulled. We're going to talk about the Club Shay Shay interview with Amanda Seales because it's a lot. So, we're also going to talk about Katy Perry, who's being dragged on social media for accepting a vehicle from Elon Musk. The gays is mad at her. Plus, speaking of the, and then we're going to talk about one of the singers, the lead singer from the Pet Shop Boys is going in on Taylor Swift. I'll give my opinion on that. Plus, Megan Thee Stallion is getting sued by one of her former workers. I think he was her assistant or something or other. And he's saying that there was some salacious accusations and all this other stuff, and she's clapped back on it. So we're going to talk about that here. Plus, Billie Eilish is talking about she likes to eat the box. Joel Kim Booster is opening about how being famous has ruined him going to sex parties and orgies. And then I have speaking of orgies, I have something that I came across on Out that I was like, oh, this is an interesting story. So apparently, there's this big thing that there was a guy that went on social media and took a picture of two gay guys hooking up in a bar and then decided to take the photos and shame them on the internet. We're going to talk about that and a whole bunch of other stuff in regards of like sex, party etiquette, and gay bars and all the other stuff. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. But like I said before, can you please do me a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Let me hit my banner. And without further ado, let's get into our first topic, which is Justin Timberlake, who I don't know if it should come as a surprise to anybody, but his latest album is a flop. So apparently everything JT thought his album was turned out not to be the case because based on its chart performance, people didn't care enough to support it. Now, according to everything I thought it was, the most recent release from Justin Timberlake has fallen off the Billboard 200 charts after just 4 weeks. This makes the LP his worst performing project by a large margin of 15 weeks following its release on March 15th. By comparison, 2018's Man of the Woods was still hovering in the number 11 spot on the same chart in its 4th week. In 2013, the 2020 Experience was ranked as the number 1 album of the year by, according to Billboard 200, and remained on the chart to such an extent in its first year that after its release, that the LP was ranked as the 142nd most popular album of 2014. Well, I think that's the last time Justin career was popping, was 10 years ago. After that, when he tried to go all Duck Dynasty on us, people just didn't care enough to support the music afterwards. So it says several factors could have contributed to the lack of staying power for this project. Yeah, now they basically say all the shit I've been saying for the longest, but let's entertain it. It says, with the primary reason being it's just not that interesting, despite boasting an NSYNC reunion. In his review, the website's one of the writers for the website by the name of Paolo Ragusa, criticized the overstuffed nature of the project while also noting everything I thought it was feels less like a terrible Justin Timberlake album and more like wasted potential. Man of the Woods was terrible, but at least he took a risk. This one is fine, frictionless, and overwhelmingly safe. And I think that's what it was also, was the fact that he took a risk with Man of the Woods because for all throughout his solo career, he basically would latch on to Timbaland mostly. I mean, he worked with Pharrell and Max Martin, a couple of other people over the years, but for the most part, Timbaland was his go-to producer. And they would come out and they would work a lot of magic. when he came out with Justified, and then he came out with the 2020 Experience, and then Future Sex Love Sounds. I'm not gonna hold him on that, but it was like, look, all three of those albums, it had some bops on it. It was iconic. They, I felt like Timberlake gave Justin a lot of his best work and his best production because, when you working with, let's call it what it is. When you start working with, when you a black producer working with one of the biggest white artists at the time, you already know you're going to collect a good coin out of Justin Timberlake. So y'all collaboration is definitely going to elevate you as a producer and elevate Justin Timberlake as a solo act. And for a while it worked until Man of the Woods came out. Then he was trying to switch it up. He's like, okay, I already, I got invited to the cookout because apparently, black people love inviting white people, blue-eyed soul singers to the cookout. Anytime they just look in y'all direction and just give a little yang, y'all automatically giving out certificates to the cookout and invitations. I don't know why, but y'all like to do it, just like y'all about to forgive Miss Candace Owens, just because, all that shit she said over the years, but this ain't about her. Maybe I'll save her for when we talk about Amanda Seales, because she was brought up in that interview. Please hold. So they did what they did, and they worked it out and all that other stuff, and they made magic. Then he tried to go, I guess, because he had squeezed all the juice out the lemon. He was like, you know what? I want to take a risk and do something different. So now I want to embrace, my roots growing up in Tennessee and being a white singer and all the other stuff. I've already, squeezed all the lemon out of the hip hop, situation, an urban situation, being that blue-eyed soul singer. And then I'm going to go over here and do this. But the album flopped. But I do applaud him for taking a risk with that. Then it was like, you know what? Because that album didn't do really well, and even down to the Super Bowl, because they were like, people were still mad at him over that. They was like, well, wait a minute. Now, how y'all invite this heifer to come perform at the Super Bowl by himself, especially after what he did to Janet? But y'all still ain't invite Janet back. Y'all still haven't given her the opportunity, even after y'all, that whole documentary and everything came out where they was like openly admitted that it was like, Les Moonves had it out for her. And thank God he got his karma. That Les Moonves had it out for her, and he wanted to really stick it to Janet in that whole situation where it was clear racism and misogyny that was shrouded in that whole situation. When it wasn't just her. She didn't pull her own titty out. I do believe that was supposed to be part of the act, but Justin got ambitious, over ambitious, and revealed a whole lot more than what was supposed to be revealed. But instead of them both getting, taking the fall or getting a full-on public lashing, she was the one that really lost a lot and was blacklisted for a long period of time. And her career, in my opinion, even though, yes, Janet is an icon in the eyes of a lot of us, myself included, her career, in my opinion, still has not recovered. And I feel like now with everything that's going on, this is his karma, because it's not only the whole Janet situation, but over the years, the things he did to Britney. And when Britney came out and wrote that memoir, I feel like she was finally vindicated. So I feel like that also hurt him with this album. And he really thought, oh, I could just brush it off. And I was like, child, don't do it. Because I knew that it was like, your timing is bad, but when these white male and y'all privilege, y'all really think like Teflon shit don't stick to y'all. He got a rude awakening because nobody cared enough about this album. But whenever I bring stuff up that based off of, me assessing the room and the timing and all that other stuff, because us Virgos, we all about, strategy and assessing things and timing and when you gonna put out some shit. We could smell the shit a mile away. So we try to tell y'all, we try to be the soothsayers. But a lot of times it's like, y'all be looking at, oh, you're a hater. You know what you're talking about. And then I got to bring this story to y'all. And I was like, I tried to tell you. Y'all ain't want to listen. And so with the whole thing about what happened with him and Britney, releasing your album 2 months after all that shit came out from the memoir was not the smart thing to do. Or not even coming out, but just announcing it and rolling out the whole campaign, and then doing like live performances where you were doing like all these free shows. You did one in Tennessee, you did one in New York, you were doing all these different places. And then he thought by trotting out NSYNC, that was going to be enough for people to come and support it. And I didn't like that because it felt like you was dangling a carrot in front of us and being like, oh yeah, look, it's NSYNC. But it's like, you need them just like they need you. Y'all pretty much need each other. to XL. Because NSYNC ain't really doing nothing. What else the rest of them doing? The only one I be hearing about that's doing shit is Lance. And that's because Lance is doing a lot of behind the scenes things. And was like in the, he was also in the gay bar entrepreneur space. We talked about that a couple episodes ago with that whole drama that went down at Heart, which he no longer is a part of. But I think he still owns Rock, or is a co-owner of Rocco's, which I believe is literally across. They're all in the same area, West Hollywood. But the incident with with I guess it was a makeup artist who was assaulted by one of the security guards that was working that club. So he's about to go on tour with this Forget Tomorrow World Tour. I don't know how well the tickets are selling. I haven't looked on Ticketmaster. I haven't looked in all the other places. So I don't necessarily know if his show is doing well. And let me tell you a little secret. So a lot of times when tours ain't really, or concerts aren't really selling, sometimes an arena will take a hit. And they'll do a whole thing where it's like, we got to sell out those seats. So free tickets get put out to the people to get them to come in and see the show. I didn't mention this before. They did it with Nicki Minaj. They recently did it with Davido at Madison Square Garden. So I know they took a hit. And a couple of others they do it with, where there's some people who really have a hard time selling out tickets. A lot of times they'll buy up free tickets and I have to give them out to people. So I don't know. We'll have to see how well Justin Timberlake's tour is doing. Or if he might be in the same boat as Jennifer Lopez, because he's supposed to be doing 2 nights, I believe in June. So that's like almost 2 months from now. So they said the tour is scheduled to kick off later this month in Vancouver. So his tour is about to start maybe this week or next week. I don't know. I don't know the exact date, but apparently he's about to go on tour this at the end of the month, and we are at the damn, I can't even speak. We are at the end of the month because today is the 25th of April. So look, I feel like at this point, this is an opportunity for him to promote the tour harder because at this point, the album is not albuming and nobody cares. So you might as well just put that shit to bed. But I'm sure what he's going to do is I don't think he's going to pull a Jennifer Lopez and make it a whole greatest hits tour. I really feel that he's going to just adamantly continue putting the music from this new album and he's going to, interlink it with this tour. So I bet we will be hearing those songs. And I'm sure that the people who ain't really caring enough about them songs those are probably gonna be the moments where people sitting their ass down. People want to hear Sexy Back. They want to hear what's some other song, Cry Me a River. Like they want to hear those songs. They don't care about whatever the name of I don't even remember what, Selfish. Nobody want to hear that shit. The only Selfish song I want to hear is the Britney Spears track from Femme Fatale that was never a damn single and it should have been. So that was my shit. But anyway, so in my opinion, just to wrap this up, I just feel like this is his opportunity to promote this tour harder than the latest album. I feel like at this point in his career, he'll always have success as a live act. There's no taking away from that because Justin Timberlake's been performing since he was a kid. So he'll always have success in one way or another. But will he be able to have that same success, like have it stagnant at the level of like a Taylor Swift or something? No, I don't see that. I don't feel like he's someone that can grow his audience. I feel like his audience is stagnant. It is where it is. And he's going to just have to continue to hold on to that audience that he has, which is, I guess, like the girls that grew up listening to NSYNC and the gays. So you got them soccer moms and the homosexuals with a lot of money who apparently like Justin Timberlake. I'm not one of them. I don't particularly care for him. I mean, I like some of his songs, but I just over the years of me doing celebrity news and gossip and following him, I just don't like the way he moves, especially when it comes to whenever he's caught up in some shit, how he likes to throw the people that he had a hand in getting caught up in some shit with under the bus to save his own ass. So that's why I don't particularly care for him. But I also feel like he needs to stop trotting out NSYNC only when he wants to use it to promote his material and actually get back with the boy band and not only release a reunion album, but tour with them as well. So I think after this, maybe what he needs to do is reunite with NSYNC. they need to record a whole album, kind of like with New Kids on the Block. They got a new album coming out too. I don't know if there's people enough that care about a New Kids on the Block record, but I'm sure they have their fan base that'll go out and support it. Do I think they're gonna make sell a lot of units and all that other stuff? Probably not, because I don't know many people who still listen to New Kids on the Block. New Kids on the Block was not my demographic. They was way before me in my time. I grew up in the era of like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Britney, and all of those people. I was from that, boy band, girl group era. Like when the Spice Girls and them started becoming popular and stuff, that's like when I started being able to use my allowance to buy CDs and all that other stuff. And yeah, I was there during Spice Mania and buying up all those CDs and shit, because that was like, I begged my parents to take me to the store so I could buy that album when it dropped. But anyway, so yeah, so I feel like that's at that point, or do a residency. Did he ever do a residency, or is that just Usher? But I feel like maybe he's probably another one who'll probably be better off, especially because you have Jessica Biel who ain't working. Why would she need to? She's married to you, and you got the 2 kids with her. So maybe what you need to do is just release, do something with NSYNC, reunite with them. Y'all record, y'all go on a little tour, whatever. That will definitely sell out. Because I know that people, the fans that grow up with that, they love that nostalgia. So do that, basically. But anyway, what do y'all think about this story? Are y'all shocked it? Are y'all surprised that Justin Timberlake's latest album flopped? I mean, for the longest of me talking about this and Jennifer Lopez, that I'm not surprised at all. But if you are, and let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Okay, well, speaking of comments, let me get to some of these, because I see it's a lot up in here. From Robert's in the building and Felix. Hey y'all, how you doing? Let me get to what y'all got to say. It said, I remember hearing him working with Madonna and Timberlake for Hard Candy. Warner had it hinting it was the majority of the album, but it turned out the other way. 8 of the 13 tracks were done by the Neptunes, so I blame Warner for a misdirection and mismanagement of that marketing, knowing majority was Pharrell and Chad did the album. I mean, there was a couple of songs. Yeah, there wasn't really that many songs on that, if I recall, on Hard Candy that was done by Timbaland. Like, there was a couple of songs that you heard Justin Timberlake's vocals and stuff on it, but for the most part, it was a lot of Pharrell's production. I always call Hard Candy the album when Madonna was following the trends rather than setting it, because when, she did Ray of Light, when she did Confession, she was definitely setting the trends in regards of like the mismatch of different dance genres and electronic music and playing in that space. And then it was just like, when Hard Candy came out, I was like, okay, the production to me is overriding the vocals, the lyrics, all that other stuff. It's a fun record to listen to. It's a good album to work out to, but to me, is it like one of her strongest albums? No. And I feel like by the time she jumped on the whole bandwagon with Timbaland, Pharrell, and I'll say Timbaland and Pharrell, because since she worked with the both of them, and Kanye and all that, I just don't feel like that was her best work. But it is a fun album to listen to nevertheless. I said Gen Z don't know hearing they don't know Britney should tell you everything. I'm sure there's a couple that do. But like, well, the problem with Timbaland and Pharrell is their sound is that's another thing. I just feel like also that Timbaland and Pharrell were at a time where we heard something like their type of music was something like we've never heard before. Even Pharrell has a song, Sweet Honey Buckin', on the new Beyonce record. That's the only song that I think they worked on. And I wanted more of that kind of sound with Beyonce doing the whole country thing. And I was like, when the minute I heard that beat, I'm like, this is a Pharrell beat. Like, you could definitely, it's at a point when you can start pinpointing what people's music sound like. It's kind of like what everybody's been saying about the new Taylor Swift album. They can definitely automatically tell a Jack Antonoff production. Is that a good thing, that people could automatically tell what your sound is, like seconds upon hearing it? Like, sometimes I want to go in and be surprised when I hear stuff. I don't want to automatically be like, okay, this is their sound. It said, I have a feeling Jack Antonoff is about to be Rodney Jerk. Oh, well, look. I always feel like, it seems like a lot of time when you have producers that work with certain major celebrities, they all have their moment in time where it's like they're here today, gone tomorrow. Where it's like we had our, Rodney Jerkins had his moment, Quincy Jones had his moment. Who else? Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis had their moment. You got your Timberlands, you got your Pharrell. Pharrell still does stuff every now and again, but it seems like he's more focused on Louis Vuitton. and avoiding getting sued by every damn body between Chad and Pink taking his ass to court. He's just going to be wrapped up in a lot of litigations. And then, so it's like every producer, like we had at one point, Rich Harrison, like everybody was trying to snatch up that sound. When Rich Harrison first started working with A. Marie, all of a sudden here come the vulture, Jennifer Lopez, with Get Right. And she tried to get one thing, but A. Marie's smart ass leaked that damn song. That's how she was able to get it. And I was like, sis, use a good one for that one. Because it was like Jennifer Lopez, that plant, because she is a plant. It was always people was in that inner circle, the people that was really pushing her out there to be this pop star. There was always situations where they would hear a song and they was like, oh, I want that song for this artist or whatever. They all do that shady ass vulture shit in Hollywood. And I was glad that A. Marie was like, you know what, fuck you bitches. You're not getting this song. And then Ashanti, I believe, said there was a similar situation where it was like Irv Gotti was trying to snag up all her good damn songs and give it to J-Lo. She was so she fought, and I think she leaked one of her songs too. So sometimes you got to take matters in your own hands when these majors be trying to play you. And it was like, because Darkchild disappeared with his production. You want to know something? I really miss Darkchild, especially because I felt like he was good when he got with Brandy. Like him and Brandy, when they worked together, and that was like, there's always that artist that has that producer. When they work together, they create magic. Like Brandy with Darkchild, Khalees with Pharrell, or the Neptunes. You had Justin Timberlake with Timbaland, or Aaliyah, if she was alive, with Timbaland, and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis with Janet Jackson. So it was always kind of that thing when you had certain artists who would work with a producer. It was like, you know what, y'all make magic together whenever y'all together. But then after a while, like you said, their sound gets dated. And also I think it's because, like with Rich Harrison and A. Marie, they made magic and everything. Then all of a sudden, here come Beyonce, here come Jennifer Lopez, here come this one, here come that. All of a sudden, everybody wanted that sound. And Rich Harrison's sound, especially when he would do like those heavy live drums and them horns, his sound, I felt like came and went real quick. Like I don't even think he lasted over a year. I just felt like, because that one thing when he was working with A. Marie, and then all of a sudden all these people started coming out trying to hijack that sound, his shit was dated within maybe a year or two. And he came and went. Sounds like he's entering the Madonna phase. There's no one where no one wanted to hear. Yeah, MDNA was horrible. There's a couple of songs on that album, but it's one of my least favorites. They said no one wanted to hear MDNA, Rebel Heart, and Madam X. They came for the hits, not the new album. And Madonna was smart, where she would find ways of, like, even if you ain't want to hear them songs, she found a way to incorporate them songs in stuff, especially when it came to endorsement deals and all that other stuff. Because it's like, oh yeah, you could use my, she don't, because it's rare she will actually allow productions or trailers or whatever to use her music, which is, I know, is surprising to a lot of people that she let them use Like a Prayer for Deadpool and Wolverine. But Madonna has her ways about trying to get people to, and look, ever since, for the smart thing about that was, ever since Like a Prayer was in Deadpool and Wolverine, which is the most streamed trailer, I think, in the history of trailers online right now. It's huge because everybody's looked at it. The song is doing well on the charts again. It was like, that's the problem with some producers. They get trapped in one sound, and then that's what they become known for, and that's why some of their careers don't last. That's why you got to be like a Max Martin and be a chameleon and switch your shit up. Because he didn't just start out in rock. He started doing rock. He did good bubblegum pop. He's done dance music. And that's the smart thing about Max Martin. You cannot really pinpoint his sound when you listen to it. Sometimes I still be shocked when I listen to stuff. Like, he did, how diverse his music is. He did Britney Spears. He's worked with Pink and so many of the other big stars, but he worked on Conan Gray's album. I would have never suspected that that's what he would have did with that record. And then, he's done stuff like with Taylor Swift and so many other people. And it's like, he changes his shit up. That's how you have to keep doing as a producer. You have to keep evolving and change up your sound and shock people. So when I was reading the line of credits and it said Max Martin and Shellback, and I was like, really? Y'all did this? Like, I would have never suspected. And so that's why I like doing different genres when I do a remix, as you should. Problem is, most only care for American success. Jack's problem is he wants Lana to be a superstar. And I don't think Lana Del Rey wants to be a superstar, and that should be okay. Everybody shouldn't have to not everybody wants international or wants to be that big superstar where Because you have to sacrifice so much for that. Some people like, you know what, let me get on stage, let me do what I gotta do, but also I want to be able to retreat and have my anonymity. And it's like, can you imagine being Beyonce or any of these other people? Like, you can't, you really are a prisoner in your own situation. But then again, Beyonce is a Virgo, so we Virgos, we value being at home, laying in the bed, not being around a lot of people. So Beyonce's a different beast. But everybody else was like, can you imagine being a Taylor Swift? Where she tried to act like she goes about her day with stuff, but technically she ain't really free to just go wherever and do whatever. And so Lana can, but she don't want it because the huge thing is she was trashed for one live performance, and I've heard she's better in small theater than a huge arena. It was like, yeah, and I was also thinking that too. Like, to me, I feel like Lana Del Rey's sound is not something that is like when I saw like she was performing at Coachella, I'm like, is her music really that interesting? Where how do you perform that live? Because her music is so somber and laid back, and it's like I gotta smoke some weed and have a glass of red wine when I'm listening to Lana Del Rey. Like, I wouldn't pay to see her in concert because I'm just standing there swaying back and forth. Just like, her music is very laid back. So I need, like, if I'm gonna go see like if Lana Del Rey was gonna be doing a Lana Del Rey type situation, like, you need some interesting stuff that happened on stage. You need all this, but her music is so laid back and stuff. It's like, how do you perform that and make it interesting and entertaining? I saw her Coachella performance. I was bored. So, in fact, I just got news that Taylor's team would threaten media if they wrote bad stuff. Sure. Look, people should be able to. I feel like that this whole situation of people not being able to just give a genuine opinion about like reviewing albums. Like, I just hate how things have happened now. Like, people can't constructively criticize without you being seen as a hater. Not everybody's a hater. Some people just be like, you know what, you are not beyond reproach regardless of your status in the industry. If you come out with a record and some of the songs are giving, but not all of them, I should be able to constructively say, this is what you should be doing. Maybe it's time you step away from these same producers, or maybe you need to do this thing and that thing and the other in order to make your music interesting. I don't know why people always think that, oh, if you say anything remotely negative about someone who is your fave, you're a hater. You have a right to like whatever it is you want to like. But also, I will say this. Now, some of you critics out here, if y'all going to criticize something, y'all need to be fair in what y'all be criticizing and not just be like, you know what? She trying too hard. Okay, so I need you to break that down and make me understand why you feel this way and use certain songs or whatever the case was, or lyrics, whatever it is, as an example. Like, really break that shit down. That's what y'all get paid to do. You get paid per word, correct? So just break it down and let us know why. Now, if you've explained it and you broke it on down and stuff, then it's like, okay, I got you, I get it, that's your opinion, I understand. But then if the fans read that and then y'all want to go, oh, they just a hater, oh, let's go dox them, oh, let's do this, then you're an asshole as well, because it's like, now you're just someone who doesn't like you don't like criticism. That's not how the world works. I'm sorry to inform y'all, but you always, whether it's you or someone you like, people are going to have opinions, and it's okay to have that, whether you agree with it or disagree with it. He did Breakaway with Kelly Clarkson. He did rock. Yeah, he did a lot of different types of stuff, because I said Max Martin started out in Sweden in a rock band before he started the whole production thing. And it said, I remember Jeff Beach of Pop Podcast is also mad at the dismissal of Ariana and others aren't songwriters because they use co-writers. So, and my thing is, that's okay. What's the problem with that? A lot of artists in the industry use co-writers. Justin Timberlake uses a co-writer. Pink uses co-writers at times, and will write certain songs herself, but she uses co-writers. And so what? If Ariana Grande wants to use a co-writer, why not? First of all, I don't mind sharing the pie with someone else. And if I'm stuck in a rut, if I have an idea and I'm stuck in a situation where I can't come up with something, I'm going to use a co-writer. I'm like, I've been thinking about this melody that's been stuck in my head, but I'm trying to articulate, or whatever the case is. Can you help me out with this sort of thing? And we sit there, we brainstorm. I love collaborating with people when it comes to any kind of art or creativity or whatever. What's wrong with that? I feel like some people think that, oh, well, everything has to be, you have to hoard everything. Beyonce uses like 75,000 writers for hers. And well, people do mock her for that and make fun of her. But it's like, look, if people want to use co-writers and share in the wealth, because, what do you want? People to be greedy? Like, speaking of an Ariana Grande song, it's like, look, Ariana Grande wants to use co-writers. She can. Not everybody wakes up out of the womb and is a songwriter. Some people also are just singers. And there are people who made absolute huge careers. Celine Dion, Whitney Houston, to name two, have made careers singing other people's songs. Are y'all mad at them because they don't write their own shit? And it's not even about whether or not you can write. Also, if you get a song and you make it yours, that's bringing the song to life. There's that too. But it's always people who don't work in these spaces that always got something to say. But anyway, let's move on. And let's talk about, not you. Let's talk about Kylie Jenner, honey, apparently pregnant with Timothee Chalamet's baby. Who these people are vultures? But anyway, so there's rumors spreading that Kylie Jenner is pregnant with Timothee Chalamet's baby and her third child overall. Now, there's people wonder if there's truth. So there's been breakup rumors, because I don't know if we talked about that on this show, but there was breakup rumors that was floating around not too long ago, but then they was saying that, no, that's not necessarily true and all this other stuff. But apparently, comedian Daniel Tosh, who, had that show Tosh.0 once upon a time, he was on his podcast and he claimed that he knew someone who said Kylie was pregnant. So he's the one that's going around saying this. So Jenners, look, go after him. He the one telling y'all family tea. And then we seen the picture of her in a sweat, like some sweats or whatever. I think she was at a funeral. Her aunt passed away. I think it was no, well, I think it was her mother's sister who passed away, because I remember seeing that story floating around. So Kris Jenner, Pimp Mama Kris, her sister passed away not too long ago, and Kylie was at the funeral, or as some people in the South call it, the fume. And she was wearing sweats. Now, y'all know every now and again, well, not every now and again, any opportunity, them Kardashian, them Jenners, whatever you want to call them, whenever they get to a situation, they run around, they make sure that they are dressed to the nines. But today, or that day, Miss Kylie was running around, in sweats. Please hold while I pull this picture up. So, yeah, I saw this on the Jasmine brand. So, basically she's wearing a hoodie and all that other stuff. So anyway, what is it? Now the black baggy sweatsuit has led to some believing that she is pregnant again. After all, why would you want to wear something like this to a funeral? Which is what I said. Then I said it could be a myriad of explanations for this one. Either way, it's very clear that fans are trying to come up with some unique explanations for what's going on. For now, Kylie remains quiet on the topic, but fans still speculate, given who she is, that speculation will likely never stop. Now, I would not be surprised if she actually is pregnant. And another thing, have y'all noticed that everybody she's hunching or getting pregnant by allegedly name begin with a damn T? She had Tiger. Who was the last one? Travis Scott? Was that Travis Scott? Or was that? Oh no, ASAP Rocky is child. Why do I be getting Travis Scott and ASAP Rocky? Well, maybe because they kind of are similar in build and everything. Travis Scott is Kylie. ASAP Rocky is with Rihanna. ASAP ain't that damn stupid. Now you go with the girl with the real billions, not that the real self-made billionaire. That's Riri. But so she had Travis Scott, Tiger, and now Timothy. So her and these T's. It's like the Kardashians with the K's, and all of her baby daddies got letter T in their situation. Y'all be doing the most. But anyway, I really hope this is not true. But if it is, I'm like, Timothy, you a fool. Number one, why would you not wear a condom when you sleeping with any of them Kardashians? And do I feel like that she intentionally got pregnant? Yes, I do, because quiet as it's kept, I don't think people are out here following or buying up Kylie's brand deals or whatever the case is that she's endorsing, because we haven't really been hearing much about Kylie. Like, I don't think her cachet in Hollywood or as a brand person or whatever is on the up and up. Whereas if you look at Timothee Chalamet's career is on the up and up. Like, he's had two hugely popular movies that came out, I think, what was it, when did Wonka come out? I think Wonka came out in 2023. Movie made a shit ton of money at the box office. Same thing with Dune 2. I actually own Dune 2. Dune 2 actually just like I just bought it on digital. So that's available. And I think it's still in the movies. I heard they're actually putting it back in IMAX. So I own both the first two. I own Dune 1 and Dune 2, and I love Timothee Chalamet in that role of Paul Atreides. It is a good film, and I think he just signed an overall deal with Warner Brothers, so he gets first dibs and develop films over at Warner Brothers. He can also go out and do films for other studios, but his main situation is with Warner Brothers. So his career is on the up and up, and I do believe that his cachet, like how much money he makes or demands for a film, has increased. So he has become that it boy in Hollywood, which whenever somebody's career is on the up and up, them Jenners come out like sharks in water, for to latch on to the next big thing. So you can't be surprised by any of this stuff that's going on. And then plus on top of that, I heard that Kylie is mad because her mother, Pimp Mama Chris, is asserting herself and inviting Timothee to events and all this other stuff. And they might have broken up because she see a gold mine in that situation. But my thing is, when you get with them Jenners, you put a condom on, or you just lay the pipe and you have fun with them, but you don't marry them, you don't get in a long-term relationship, you don't do none of that. Because now she got a little attachment with that situation and y'all stuck together for the rest of y'all lives. So I will definitely keep you guys abreast of the story as it develops, because I was going to sit there like, you know what, Timothee, you was a damn fool if you about to throw away your career for this shit. Now I'm sure he'll continue to make his bones, make his movies, be insanely busy. But the fact of the matter is, if she's pregnant, it's sort of like you're going to be stuck in Calabasas with this kid, raising it, while Timothee is traveling around the world for half the year, or maybe even longer, shooting so many damn movies because he's in demand in Hollywood. And he's not going to give that up because his career is on the rise for you. He's not. I mean, I wouldn't. If my career was on the up and up, it's like, okay, well, you the woman with the vagina and the ovaries, and you the one that can make the baby. So, I know it sounds heartless. It sounds shady, but it's just like, the scales are always, it tips when it comes to the woman having to be at home and taking care of the kid versus the father. The father doesn't really have as much responsibilities. Can we blame it on society? I guess we can, but Timothee is going to just continue to do what he does. Now, like I said, I'm going to keep you guys abreast of the story as it develops, because if she is indeed pregnant, child, a mess. But anyway, let's read these comments. Don't turn around is associated with Ace of Base. Her Bratz line flop. Dolls are on clearance at Target and Walmart, close to being discounted at Ross. Ooh. As I said, I don't think she has much of an influence in the industry as she thought she did. And I do feel like her career, like her situation, is on a decline. So I just don't think people care enough about her. But the fact of the matter is, them Jenners are notorious for latching on to the hottest thing of the moment. Nobody was buying into Kim's relationship with Odell Beckham. Nobody cares about Courtney with Travis Barker, the other Travis. Kylie being with Timothee Chalamet, I side-eyed that whole relationship from the beginning. I just thought they were just going to have a little fun. And that she beat on her birth control and he was going to hit it with a condom. But apparently she's pregnant. And you got people out here spilling tea about it. All right, so let's move on. Let's give you all the latest on this whole Alec Baldwin thing. Now, the last episode we did, we talked about it. I actually posted a separate video where, talking about this. It's on my YouTube channel where you can watch this clip, the clip of that whole Alec Baldwin and the Heckler thing. It's its own separate video. Like, when I go in and I actually take the full episodes and I cut them up and I upload them on different platforms. I guess I'm going to really invest in this YouTube because we're about to lose TikTok within a year, with this bullshit going on with our country, where y'all want to focus on getting rid of TikTok versus actually dealing with the situations in this country. And I just have to say this, that old crow, Joe Biden, looking like the Crypt Keeper, I can say that I voted for his ass. You're going to get a lot of people sitting out this whole trial and situation, or this whole upcoming election based off of you signing some shit with TikTok. And if you think that getting rid of TikTok is going to stop all these protests that's happening worldwide, most recently there was one at Columbia University in New York. If you think that's going to stop these kids out here from protesting and doing sit-ins and getting gas with from what is it? I was going to say IBF. It's IBF, IMF, them damn Israeli soldiers, former one. They spraying the kids with that smelly gas shit that they was doing over at the West Bank. They hitting people out here with that. I remember I saw India Moore, was composed. She was telling people y'all need to show up and be vigilant in this whole situation. So it's funny how y'all sit out the Uvalde shooting that happened where that boy got up in that school and shot up all them kids. The cops were sitting outside on their damn phone to give a fuck about who was getting murdered on the inside. But it's funny how, like, when it comes to stuff about Israel and what y'all doing over there to them Palestinians, all of a sudden the cops out here with their little shields on their face and they semi-automatic weapons and they ready to just shoot people. It's funny how y'all, when y'all get a battery in your back, depending on what the situation is. But anyway, let's talk about this whole Alec Baldwin thing. And yes, it has something to do with this because it's going on what's going on in Israel and that whole situation. And you already know I read crackhead Barney ugly ass down to the floor because I see her old dusty looking ass. And now she talking about, the one that went in and started gaslighting Alec Baldwin and trying to pick a fight with him and talking about say free Palestine and all this other mess and fuck Gaza. Fuck Israel? She wanted him to say a whole bunch of other stuff. And it's like, girl, first of all, why are you harassing this man? And y'all already know, I don't particularly care for Alec Baldwin because I feel like he's an arrogant asshole and he's got a little nasty attitude and all this other stuff. He has a short temper. This is stuff we've known about him over the years, that he's pretty much a dick. But that doesn't excuse the fact of you going into a public place to go and harass somebody because you want to have a moment on social media. So it says that the pro-Palestine protester who clashed with Alec Baldwin hasn't filed a police report, but there still may be some legal action on the horizon over the phone attack. Now, in the latest development to come after Baldwin was ambushed by a pro-Palestine protester inside a New York City coffee shop this week, it was revealed that the woman, since identified as crackhead Barney, was considering legal action in connection to the matter. Now, according to TMZ, crackhead Barney did not file a police report as of Tuesday afternoon, although she may still sue the embattled Russ actor in civil court over the altercation. Baldwin's agitator also broke her silence on the confrontation in a statement on Tuesday. She described the ambush of the former 30 Rock star inside a Manhattan coffee shop as confrontational media that served as a statement about the double standards of society in the U.S. Okay. She said, my performance art, girl, this is like her calling this shit performance art is literally like Jared Carmichael trying to call what he does comedy. So what she said was, my performance art and confrontational media is a statement about double standards of society in the U.S. As the U.S. supports Israel in the genocide of Palestinians, here at home, powerful people maintain a facade of politeness and dignity while we export death and terror around the world. Now, as Radar Online previously reported, crackhead Barney made headlines on Monday night when she uploaded a video of herself confronting Baldwin inside a New York City coffee shop. What I don't get is this. Oh, and she went and said, white devil Alec Baldwin attacked me. This is what she wrote. While I was trying to get coffee, bitch, you wasn't trying to get no goddamn coffee. Just like you said earlier, this was your performance art trying to show the hypocrisy and the double standards of society in the U.S. Now, if that was some shit you wanted to do, then why didn't you go after the politicians who are agreeing and signing these papers and stuff, or coming up with this, especially like the whole thing with TikTok, all the senators who agreed to it? Why haven't you gone after the people that basically have been the politicians and stuff, and the school people and the people who give private funding and stuff? What was this, the guy that runs the Patriots? He pulled his funding from Columbia University because of the protests. So I'm like, is this really for you trying to help the kids, or is it because you mad because your agenda is not you don't want to fund a school that goes against your agenda? You're not doing this out of the kindness of your heart. It's just sort of like there's some propaganda bullshit that you're trying to pull with your little money. So you want to dangle the cat. Oh, well, because y'all going to allow these people to be out here protesting against because I'm pro-Israel and I'm anti-Palestine. So now I'm going to pull my money. Keep your money. How about you shove it up your ass? And are we actually protesting the Patriots? Is Travis Kelce on the Patriots? I'm trying to remember if he is. But anyway, so to get off that, what I'm going to say is that, okay, now if you're going to go after like real people, you're going after a celebrity who 9 times out of 10, y'all be out here saying y'all don't give a fuck what these celebrities think. They need to keep their political opinions to themselves. Why they got to be out here telling all they, why we have to hear what y'all think about this, and this? Because your regular politicians be talking out of both sides of their goddamn mouth and don't be honest about the things that need to be honest about. They're not sitting up in here really giving the tea. They just say whatever because they just want to continue to feed their base. Just like Chris Sununu was talking about, he was against, everybody was like, oh, he's so progressive because he's so against Donald Trump and not endorsing. Mind you, he voted for him and he endorsed him many a times, but then he goes on a View and says something completely different. Then recently, I think it was last week, he goes and he says he's for Donald Trump again. And it's probably because he feels like Trump is going to win. And with everything going on in this country right now, how fucked we are, and the fact of the matter is they continue to allow this asshole to just get away with whatever and still run for president after he got like 80 indictments or whatever charges against him. I feel like he is going to win because it just goes to show the country that, you know what, if you're a criminal, if you're a genocidal maniac, you too can become president of the United States. And I think that's what's going to happen. And I feel like not Trump, I feel like Biden shot himself in the foot with this whole TikTok situation. Because you thinking it's all about social media or they selling our data and stuff. I'm like, okay, so how long has Meta been selling our data? And, you could be going after Elon Musk over at Twitter, even though I am streaming live from Twitter. I'm just saying. It's like, how come they haven't gone after Elon Musk? Elon Musk and them over at Twitter, they be people that be saying and doing 10 times worse over on that whole streaming situation or that whole app. But I don't see our government going in and letting have on them. It's probably because a lot of these politicians like Marjorie Taylor Greene and all these other ones be up in there with their damn propaganda and their hate speech, and they don't get flagged for it. So why would they go after them? You go after TikTok because that's the real enemy, right? So I say all this to say, this crackhead Barney, girl, get off my line with this bullshit. You don't have a case. I feel like that you went in, you were just trying to harass this man. And I don't feel like you're going to get any kind of money. She even gaslit, and she said, since white men love me and are obsessed with me, Alec, Baldwin, let's collaborate. We broke the internet. So that's what she was looking for. She was looking for a moment. She got it. She went viral all over social media. Like even on Twitter, I saw crackhead Barney trending. So you got what you wanted, sis. So, but as far as like trying to get money out of Alec Baldwin, child, he got bigger fish to fry. He got to in the fish he got to worry about frying is the fact that he ain't got to do it in an 8x10 cell for going to prison for shooting at Helena Hutchins, which I don't think he is going to jail for that. I think they will probably give him a slap on the wrist. He'll probably get probation and he'll probably have to pay a fine and whatever. But as far as like you trying to get money out of this, sis, girl, bark up a whole nother other tree. Why don't you go pick on Marjorie Taylor Greene, creature of the night looking ass and see how far you get with that. So go pick on some real people and not, okay, just little old Alec. Well, I shouldn't say little old Alec because I make it seem like he's a victim. But he might be a victim in this situation. But girl, go after a bigger fish than some damn Alec Baldwin. But anyway, we got comments. It's over because the current generation ain't into celebrities. No, and they're not, because I feel like the new celebrities are people who are just, I think that the real celebrities are like the social media people, like people who are on social media who are influencers and stuff. That's like when you look at like the Jennifer Lopez and so many other people, the reason why people are dragging them so much because y'all want to come on social media to about how real you are when the people can see through the BS. And it's like when you have to tell people that you're real or you have to go around trying to show people how real you are, people can go through. And I think that's why people are going so hard on her. We knew for a long time that Jennifer Lopez was a see you next Tuesday, especially when it came to people in the service industry. That was always a story that was going around that she's nasty behind the scenes, that she had a nasty reputation. She was for a long time trying to clean that up. And I always side at it because I'm like, girl, if you have to work this hard to get people to like you, then you were really an evil SOB in real life. And for a long time it worked until she did that documentary that came on Prime Video. And once people saw that, it was like, okay, now everybody had to come out with their own little citation that blew up on TikTok. So if TikTok went away tomorrow, J-Lo be one of the many that's happy. Her and Joe Biden, because Joe don't like this whole situation of him coming out where he's going around looking like a genocidal maniac, that he's someone who's for the massacre of hundreds of thousands of people and, brown people in, you know, other countries, which is why it's funny how you got money to give to Ukraine and Israel to fight their war. But I hope y'all got money for that bridge that recently collapsed in Maryland. The one that I just saw in the news yesterday, they still trying to remove parts of the bridge and stuff else because I think they said that they were they finally got some of the ships that were supposed to go through the port to deliver stuff to get through that thing. But it's going to take a while for them to build that bridge. And they said they need I think they said $100 billion. I think they said I was trying to remember the number, but they need a shit ton of money to rebuild that bridge. And so if y'all gonna sit up in here and say I ain't got it, first of all, you're full of shit. Because I'm like, if you ain't got money to build shit here, but you got money to send over there. And that's always been my bitch about this country. Y'all always can find money to send to other people so they can remain our allies like Israel is. But you ain't got money to fix the shit that we need in this country or to bring down, the overpricing that y'all do in these apartments and home ownership that people is struggling even to get an apartment in around the world or whatever, and to have a job, a living wage to match paying those bills and that rent, and then getting the inflation on food. When that's coming down, the pandemic has been done for what, 3 years? Why is there still inflation on food? I shouldn't have to be paying $13 for a slab of ribs. Boy, child, if you go to Costco or BJ's, what was it? No, Costco. If you go to Costco, why am I paying damn near $30 for fucking seafood? And I love me some shrimp. But anyway, it said, I heard Tina Turner's version of Don't Turn Around. I haven't heard that one. I saw the video the other night of Alec, and then I heard about someone else doing the same thing as someone on and that's what it's become now. Now it's become the situation that everybody just be on social media looking for a damn moment. Y'all literally be going out starting with people. I told you, if you try that shit with me, your teeth, you gonna be eating your teeth. That's what you're gonna be doing. And I said there are a lot of people who are famous for no reason these days, and that's what this is. It's like the new celebrities are the ones with just doing dumb shit. I just don't find the fascination in just like poking bears and picking fights with people just to be famous. Maybe because I'm from a town where I didn't grow up with the internet. I grew up at a time when it was just like, you know what? We actually went outside and touched grass. We played. I scraped my knees. We rode our bikes and stuff until it got dark outside. Like I did fun shit. Played games, played with my friends, rode bikes, roller skates or your skateboard or whatever the case was. Like I did fun stuff growing up in New York. And now it's just like these kids, all y'all all grew up with phones, the internet. And the internet, I'm not going to say that it's a bad thing because it's not. Like there's good things that come out of working, like doing the internet and all other stuff. But it just seems like more the negative outweighs the positive. Now, speaking of negative, child, let's talk about Kanye West apparently and his hypocritical ass. So it looks like Kanye West has stepped out of his religious era and is planning to launch a Yeezy Super Happy Fun Time studio 5 years after saying he had an addiction to lewd material. Now, the Praise God rapper is in talks to launch a Yeezy porn studio, his reps tell Page Six. They said he has been throwing around the idea for a while now, seems dead set on doing it. This is what a spokesperson told TMZ, which was first to report the news. To get the ball rolling, West has been in contact with Stormy Daniels' ex-husband, Mike Mars, who is a producer in the Super Happy Fun Time industry, to serve as the head honcho of his new project. If all goes to plan, the Wonder Hitmaker's latest endeavor might launch this summer. Now, West's adult cinematography venture may come as a surprise to some. Really? I don't know if I agree with that. First of all, Koonye has always had an adult cinematography addiction. Remember back in the day when he said that he was obsessed with the Kim and Ray J sex tape to the point that, he was obsessed with getting with Kim and he would watch it all the time. Then it was stories that came out where he was, what was it? I think it was that he was showing videos of himself showing Adidas executives an adult cinematography video during a business meeting. And one of the men asked him, is it one of those movies? And then he said, yeah. So who goes into a meeting, a professional meeting, and shows people, adult cinematography videos and shoving it in their face? It's always looking like you trying to do that shock factor thing, and it's inappropriate. And then there was a Rolling Stone report that came out that alleged that Yeezy, Koonye, this is what we're going to call him, has showed staffers of Yeezy explicit photos and videos of Kardashian, whom he split in 2021 after 6 years of marriage. A former employee claimed West had shown a very revealing and personal photo of him during a 2018 job interview. Well, here's the thing. When I will go into a job with somebody famous, I don't never expect to have on my bingo card that somebody is going to be up in here showing, genitalia or any of that stuff. And it's sort of like, why are you even showing me that? Number one. Like, I don't want to see that. And you put me in a position where I have to kind of put up with that until, I guess you come out with a lawsuit or whatever the case is. So, am I surprised that this would be something that he would get into? Not really. Now it would now the real gag would be if Bianca Censori, his wife, his new wife. I don't even know if they're legally married, but let's just entertain the idea that they say this is the wife, that's the wife. What if he make her the mascot? She all of a sudden be laying low and spreading it wide in these videos. And here's the thing: when it comes to porn, or see, it'd be hard for me not to say that word because when you on certain websites or whatever the case is and you're streaming, apparently that's like a word that gets you flagged or whatever. Anyway, most people look. Adult cinematography is one of the most popular things that people watch on, the internet. Like if you look at the polls and all of those stuff, especially when they come out with every year what they say the top style of adult cinematography people watch, trans porn being the number one. So a lot of y'all that be out here with y'all anti-trans rhetoric is like, okay, let me check your phone. Because I'm sure in your history, you like in those movies with girls with a little something extra, getting their backs blown out. So like I said, am I surprised with this whole situation? No, I'm not surprised because here's the thing. I don't know what's been going on with Koonye's Sunday service. I haven't heard him doing anything in regards to that. When you go from one scam to another, which was the church religion trying to create your own little situation so you get your tax write-offs, because apparently anytime somebody can come up with a damn religion when you worshiping horse balls or whatever the case was, I can come up with that right now and probably get like a tax credit or a tax write-off and not have to pay no damn taxes. And that's what a lot of these rich people be trying to do, find ways to not pay their damn taxes. So they wrap themselves up in these fake ass situations in order to do that. And I'm sure that because, what went on with him and Adidas and him not actually owning a lot of the stuff that was going on with Yeezy, which I'm not surprised because like Diddy with Ciroc, Koonye to me gives me like someone who will sit up in there and say, oh, I created this. No, you were just a mascot for the company. Adidas owns majority of the sketches and everything that came with designing those sneakers. Therefore, that's why they were able to have access to selling it and making their profit. Whereas he wasn't. He went on this whole rant that he doesn't own, like, oh, well, we need to go in and, all this other stuff that he was saying about it. Come to find out, he actually signed his contract where he really didn't have ownership of the whole thing. He was pretty much the face and got his little percentage and kept it moving and pretended like he had full-on dibs of the company or the designs. So now with this whole situation, so I'm like, okay, so when all else fails or whatever, and now you lost so much money, especially when you said all that anti-Semitic stuff, and rightfully so, because what Kanye said is anti-Semitic. Now, all this other stuff that everybody out here saying against it, the Jews or whatever, that's not anti-Semitic, especially what's going on when we pointing out that y'all are doing the same thing to the Palestinians, what the Nazis did to the Jews. When you sit and you take, when the oppressor oppressed becomes the oppressor, that's what I was trying to get to. When the oppressed becomes the oppressor, that's when it's the problem. And that's what is happening, especially what's going on in the politics. So I think also people hate when you piss on their leg and tell them it's raining, in the words of Judge Judy. But anyway, so porn, why else wouldn't he go into that? First of all, it's $1 billion industry, even though a lot of Americans approve and they frown upon it. There's money to be made in that. And with Kanye's name attached, there'll be a bunch of girls who probably, and I wouldn't be surprised if majority of them come from the damn Zeus network and that other network with Ray J, that, they end up, spreading their legs for a opportunity to be part of Kanye's adult industry website, whatever it is that they're going to call it, they're going to put together. I don't know if he's going to come out with an OnlyFans, his own version of OnlyFans or Just Fans, whatever the case is, that people can put their content up there, or you're going to do like Tyler Perry, or most recently 50 Cent, and you're going to build your own little studio, or use that house out in Wyoming you can't sell, and just set that up to be like your headquarters for them to come out there and shoot their stuff. Like content creators come out there, shoot their stuff, and make a profit. I don't know how well you do with straight form, but the gays, that'd be where the real money is. So, am I surprised they would be doing this? Like I said, no. And you know what? I like Stormy Daniels. She's been putting Donald Trump on blast with a lot of stuff that's going on with him. And Stormy Daniels, I don't know if y'all ever seen that show that she hosts, For the Love of Dilfs, which is basically like, a gay relation, like a reality competition series where it's like a dating show. So you have like himbos, which are like these young airhead type white, not white, but it's like young airheadish, not perceived as smart type of guys who are looking to hook up with daddies who are men of a certain age. It's actually a pretty good show. It's funny, especially the commentator where they have Dr. Dilf. He's a cackle, but when that show was actually pretty good. So I don't know if y'all have Out TV, definitely check that show out. So Stormy Daniels out here doing her thing, and I don't know if she's going to be testifying in this case or whatever against Trump. We'll see about that. But yeah, like with this whole thing with him, it's just like he's a hypocrite. I'm not surprised that he would jump into this whole situation, and that's why it's like, yeah, this man says a whole bunch of other stuff, and a lot of y'all salivate at the mouth. I just be looking at him like, yeah, if you don't just get up off my line with this bullshit. But it is what it is with him. So I'll keep you guys abreast of it as the story goes on. But when he actually launches it, I'll let y'all know if y'all care. All right, so now let's move on. And wait, I'm going a little too far up. I don't know why it does that. And let's talk about, no, not that one. Not that one. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I was like, I think I found it. Megan Thee Stallion. That's what I was looking for. It's like, because I was trying to move it. I hate when I try to move something up and then I can't seem to get it to go where I want it to go. So, okay, so now let's get into this Megan Thee Stallion story since we talking about sex and things, right? So Megan is facing a harassment lawsuit from a man who says he used to work as a cameraman for the Houston rapper. Now, Megan's denying the scathing allegations made about her in a harassment lawsuit filed against her on Tuesday, saying this is an employment claim for money with no sexual harassment claim filed and with salacious accusations to attempt to embarrass her, the superstar's lawyer, as Spiro tells Page 6 exclusively on Tuesday, saying we will deal with this in court. Now, videographer Emilio Garcia accused Megan of fostering a toxic workplace environment in a complaint filed in LA and previously obtained by Page 6. He alleged that in June 2022, he was forced to witness the Savage rapper hunching another woman during a tour stop in Ibiza, Spain. Garcia claims he was unable to escape the moving vehicle at the time and was allegedly traumatized by what he saw, probably because he's a gay man and he don't want to see a bunch of girls going down on each other because he gives me full-on sissy and poem. But anyway, it says, I felt uncomfortable, the camera operator told NBC News on Tuesday. I was kind of frozen and I was shocked at kind of just the overall audacity to do this right beside me. In the lawsuit, Garcia claimed he has been dealing with several mental health issues as a result of the alleged incident, including mounting anxiety, depression, and physical distress stemming. So you seeing another woman getting her box eaten caused you to have mental health issues? Boy, if you don't sit your ass. And he also claimed that Megan told him after the alleged sexual escapade, don't ever discuss what you saw, and that the Grammy winner and Roc Nation retaliated against him by cutting his pay. Garcia claimed Megan and her team altered his monthly rate from $4,000 to a pay-per-task system after the trip, resulting in him earning significantly less. Well, here's what I've heard about Garcia. I also heard about him that he has allegedly been the one. Okay, So they're saying that he's a low-key barb. Now, I don't know if it's low-key when you've actually been caught out there with screenshots, liking and commenting on things about Nicki Minaj. So I do believe that he is a barb. Also, they were sitting there saying that he was the one because, whenever, remember there was a story I told y'all about a while ago that there was things that I was hearing about, excuse me, that there was someone who was leaking information to Nicki Minaj in regards of any time Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion would release stuff. Then all of a sudden, when Bongos came out and they were advertising that, then all of a sudden you saw Nicki Minaj's album cover for Pink Friday 2 came out, and people was in the comments saying, "Oh, she had this in the hard drive just waiting." That's what the people were saying. And so there was some tea that was saying that he was the one that was actually leaking information to Nicki Minaj. And when Megan found out, Megan fired his ass. And so now he's out here complaining about a situation that happened in a car. Now, we're not going to sit up in here and act like that Megan is innocent, because here's the thing. Regardless of whatever happened on that night, Megan has a reputation of not being the nicest when it comes to people that she staffs. She's had falling outs with a lot of people. It seemed like a lot of her exes have come out and said stuff about her, including Partisan, James. And we already know about Mr. Beijing, the one that's in jail right now, Tory Lanez. And then, we had Kelsey came out and said what she said, but she's, in my opinion, not credible because she flip-flops. And there's been people where she's fallen out with her hairstylists, makeup people, and the people. I always tell you, if you really want to know the tea about what these celebrities, get to know the people that work behind the scenes, get to know the makeup and hair people. I learned that ever since I went on New York Undercover back in the 90s, thanks to my teacher, Copper Cunningham. That's how we'll find out the backstage tea. But they're the ones that know everything. They know where all the bodies is buried, because that's where, a lot of the celebrities are most vulnerable. When you see them running around half naked or getting their hair, makeup, and stuff done, a lot of tea gets spilled. And they be knowing the stuff, and that's how I be finding out the stuff. But anyway, so so that's what the word on the curb is that's been going around. So I don't know if he actually has a fight in this whole situation. We'll see. But it just seems like this is this ongoing thing that whenever people come out and say some stuff, or whenever people get fired from a job, or whenever things don't go their way, because I've been saying it for the longest, when it comes to stuff like Andy Cohen, and you hear about Megan Thee Stallion, and sidebar, I forgot to mention, he actually is using the same attorney as the people that are going after Lizzo. See a pattern here? So there seems to be a whole situation with that as well. So now he's using the same attorney as the girls, the people that's going up and saying that Lizzo created this hostile work environment and stuff. So I definitely see that this is sort of a payday. This is some sort of thing they, cash grab, whatever the case is. We'll see if he's able to get something out of it. I doubt it, because they'll probably bring up them screenshots in regards of, him leaking information allegedly to Nicki. I don't think Nicki had anything to do with this whole situation's going on. I just think he got caught, and now he want to come up with something in order to take Megan to court, especially when she about to go on tour. So now he want to bring this stuff up. So we'll see how this all works out. Megan's attorney said they're willing to take this to court and fight his ass over it, and we'll see how far they get. But yeah, do I think it's a late? Look, this is why I always said about people like the Andy Cohens, the Lizzos, and the Megan Thee Stallions. When it comes to, I understand like the entertainment industry is different, because I've been in these spaces where it's like, the energy of working in the entertainment industry is completely different than working a regular office job. Like when I was at VH1, the energy in there was a lot different. Where it was like everybody was cool, everybody was laid back. It was very much like a frat party type of vibe. So the way that a lot of these entertainment industry spaces work is not the same as like, okay, I work a corporate job down in Wall Street or whatever. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure down in Wall Street they be doing their booger sugar and drinking and partying and getting lap dances from strippers and shit too. But it's like when I'm talking about a regular corporate job versus working in the entertainment industry, a lot of these celebrities move differently. They're a lot more relaxed. They're a lot more like real down home or whatever. And then I think they get a little too comfortable with their coworkers or people that they hire. Or especially if you're in a boss type situation. Like me personally, I would not want to be saying, like, if I'm working for a celebrity, whatever, I don't want to see you having sex. Like, to me, that is a violation of my privacy or whatever. But then again, Megan might be the type of girl that it's like, if I'm hanging out and I'm drinking and I'm partying, whatever the case is, I'm a little loose. And a lot of times, when you're a little under the influence or you're intoxicated, you've got drugs or whatever in your system, you're not thinking clearly. So yeah, if the moment strikes, I'm definitely going to be up in there eating some ass or the box or whatever the case is, or hunching. And I don't be thinking about who's in the room or in the car or whatever the case is. First of all, how many people was in the vehicle, and how was y'all making that whole situation work where this girl got her legs spread and you up in there hunching this other woman? And where was he sitting? So yeah, when you were gonna be in that courtroom, you really gonna have to break down the details. But anyway, so um let me know what you guys think down below in regards of this topic, because I want to know. I want to know. I was like, why is this thing not moving where I want it to? Thank you. All right, so let's move on to our next topic since we talk about eating boxes and things. And let's talk about Billie Eilish, who's being very open about her sexuality. So she never planned to talk about her sexuality at great length, but now that it's out there, she's letting it rip. So according to reports, she did an interview with Rolling Stone, and she was talking about a new song that she did on her upcoming album, Hit Me Hard and Soft. And the name of the song is called Lunch. And here's what she had to say about it. She said, I wrote some of it before even doing anything with a girl and then wrote the rest after. And this is what Iris 22 said in an interview with Rolling Stone published on Wednesday, April 24th. I've been in love with girls for my whole life, but I just didn't understand until last year I realized I wanted my face in a vagina. Alice teased Lunch and other tracks from her upcoming third studio album, Hit Me Hard and Soft, at a Do Labs Coachella party earlier this month. According to lucky fans who got a sneak peek of Lunch, the track features lyrics about a same-sex relationship such as, I could eat that girl for lunch, yeah, she dances on my tongue, tastes like she might be the one, and I could never get enough. I could buy you so much stuff, it's a craving, not a crush. Okay, lyrics, come on through with the box eating and the lunch metaphors. Now, Alice went on to tell Rolling Stone that she previously never planned on discussing her sexuality in a million years, adding, it's really frustrating to me that it came up. But didn't she kind of bring it up? Anyway, I digress. The singer seemingly referred to her November 2023 profile with Variety, in which she admitted she was attracted to women for real. The following month, she accused the outlet of outing her with the story, writing via Instagram, thanks Variety for my award, and also outing me on a red carpet at 11 a.m. instead of talking about anything else that matters. I like boys and girls. Leave me alone about it, please. Literally, no one cares. Stream, that's what I was made for. And it's funny how you want to use that as a way to stream your music, because I feel like that's what she's doing now. I feel like because we're at a point, this is the third album, and sophomore jinx is like you really have that moment when you gotta really, it's a make or break. Like, okay, is this debut album success a fluke, or can she hit it out of the park twice? And Billie and her brother Phineas are double Oscar winners. They have 2 Oscars under their belt. I'm sure they got a bunch of Grammys. I don't know about Emmys and Tonys. If they can get those, then they could be an EGOT. And I think they're on their way to that. Because, in my opinion, I think Billie Eilish is really talented. And to me, it was like, coming out as gay is not really as groundbreaking as it once was back in the day. I was thinking of Amanda Priestley when I was Miranda Priestley. When I was thinking about was like groundbreaking, the Devil Wears Prada. But I don't think it's as groundbreaking as it once was, eons ago. It's like with Jared Carmichael trying to make his whole gay thing. Ooh, it's like, okay, first of all, you're a bore. Nobody cares that you're a homosexual. They care about the other stuff, the race play and stuff. That's where you went wrong. But for the most part, you being a gay comedian, I mean, yeah, you're gay, but you're boring, and B, your jokes aren't funny. So, Billie is talented, and I love the fact that she wants to be open and explore her sexual same-sex attractions. And why shouldn't she explore it in her music? Like, she's from a generation where the younger kids, especially Gen Z and Alpha and stuff, they're very much open with their feelings and exploration and stuff. And they're not as bigoted as a lot of their parents and generations before them, like the Gen X and the millennials and the boomers and all that stuff. They're not as bigoted and set in their ways when it comes to a lot of that. Like, Gen X is still trying to come to terms with a lot of the new pronouns and all this other stuff that they've going around with. Millennials are still trying to exercise that, or the Zennials. And I think slowly but surely they're coming around. But the younger generations and stuff, they're pretty much set and okay with that. So I don't think it's a big deal that Billie Eilish is coming out about her sexuality. But if she wants to explore that in her music, and her new album comes out on May 17th, then I feel like, you know what? She can do that. But I feel like with this new album, like, she's got a lot to prove, because that third album, that's like the real one that solidifies you as, okay, she's that girl. So she's really got to bring it with this upcoming album. And yeah, now, and I'm sure she knows that me writing a song about comparing a woman's body parts, I could eat her for lunch, that's definitely going to get the media and the press and media, press, same shit. That's going to get the media and people like myself talking about it. So you can sit up here and gaslight and then play like, oh my God, thank you for bringing up something. You should be talking about something. You can do that shit all you want, because I'm sure you had the interview with Variety and there was you knew that they were going to bring it. It's like, y'all cannot be naive in this stuff and think that you could say stuff somewhere and think that it's not going to come back and it's going to be brought up. Variety, yeah, they are one of the best trades in the industry. Variety, Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, those are the major trades. So I can't sit and say they don't need the publicity, because they do. It's like, yeah, we could talk about celebrity news and things, and they get all first dibs on a lot of like the main stuff that's going on in Hollywood, because they are a Hollywood trade. But of course, if we talk about Billie Eilish being into women, as much as people try to act like they prudes, that is going to be the hook to get you to read the article. And people are going to gravitate towards it, because sex sells. Even though a lot of people be trying to act like prudes and act like they don't like sex. I mean, how else the fuck did we get here? We needed to have sex in order to make children and things of that nature. And sex is also for pleasure. I don't care what nobody says. Like, y'all be out here trying to act like that sex will only be for procreation. I don't know who the fuck told you that. We got enough kids in this planet. We don't need no more. It's like, if y'all want to go out here and hunch and really enjoy it, I feel like sex should be enjoyed. The Europeans be having a whole lot of sex and having a good old time. Why can't we uptight Americans do the same damn thing? I'm always pro sex and making and pushing it out there that it should be enjoyed. I don't know. Stop reading them damn Bibles where they tell you it's not. It is. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this story down below. Okay. So speaking of Ye, do we think Vultures 2 is going to lose to? Do people care about Vultures? So first of all, I thought that album was out already. Like, how many times are you going to release the album? It's going to get taken off the charts. It's going to be released again. Like, at this point, I don't think anybody cares about Kanye's music except his hardcore fans. I don't care about Kanye's music. Even when Vultures got released the first time before it got pulled, I didn't care enough to listen to it. Like, I have not really listened to Kanye's music in years. Like, I liked all his old stuff, but then when he started with this whole downward spiral, saying all kinds of crazy shit, I was like, I can't get on board his foolishness anymore. So I just didn't care. I just felt like the minute the controversy outweighs the music and the talent, I just don't be caring to listen to your music. I say he picked a bad release time and he's gonna cry foul and scream racist. Look, when you talk shit about your own damn community and you've thrown black community under the bus, when you was once upon a time the guy that said George Bush don't care about black people, and then you went on this whole thing where you stuck your head so far up Donald Trump's ass, you know what all his farts smell like. I don't want to hear anything about you trying to cry foul or whine about you being dogged by the black community when you ain't really stood with your own damn people. And you threw them under the bus when they needed you the most. So it's like coming out now as a celebrity is more accepted these days. Like when Ellen came out, no, I don't think people accepted Ellen. I think it actually hurt her career when she first came out. And they canceled shortly after. They canceled her sitcom, and then she was blacklisted for a while until I think she was able to revive herself. I think she started going back out and doing stand up, and then she actually started Then she got the talk show, and that's when the career really started to blow up, and people started to really give Ella. And then, child, the other big mistake they made was putting her on American Idol. I'm like, how you got a comedian on here judging singing? That was kind of like Nicki Minaj. Why did y'all have her on there? It wasn't a rap show. Like if y'all was doing that, like if that rap show that's coming back on, I forget what it's called. That's coming back on. I don't even know when it's coming out on Netflix. The one with where they replaced Cardi B with Lotto. If that was a situation where they would have had Nicki Minaj up on there, that I could get if you judging a rap show, but not no singing, especially when you barely sing on your own music. And I would say Ricky Martin and Neil Patrick Harris have still done well. Well, they did well after the fact, but I do remember that. I think, well, I don't know if Neil Patrick Harris's career really suffered because he was doing TV and stuff, but I know there were some people that were outed by Perez Hilton, by the way, that they were real angry about that. I think it was he outed Lance Bass. He outed Chad Allen. Remember from Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman? I think that was the one where he was, there was some pictures that was floating around of him making out with a dude in the pool in Los Angeles, and they leaked them photos and all the other stuff. And I think Perez Hilton, you know, it was a whole situation with him. I know he's trying to clean up his act and all the other stuff, but he was no saint back in the day. But and Ricky Martin, it was like for a long period of time, the speculation was there, and then we had that whole situation with him and Barbara Walters. That clip still floats around on social media about how Barbara Walters was trying to force him to come out of the closet. He said, I just don't want to. That should have been the tell right there, that we knew that Ricky Martin was a member of the community, but he wasn't ready. The way you would think that Ricky Martin's the only Latin pop star that's gay in all of Hollywood, because he's the only one that's actually come out and said he is. Although I could probably name a couple of others, but we ain't gonna do that. You know, I don't like outing folks, except unless you did some shit to the community. Then it's like, okay, I'll out you. But yeah, I'm gonna say a closet case still gives signals, but he wants me. But have to penetrate a girl with him. I'm like, excuse me, how fucking dare you? Wait, huh? I'm confused. It is that, but when she did the talk show, when she did, like I said, when she did the talk show, she made the comeback. But I remember when she first came out and she did the whole coming out thing where she went in the microphone, I'm gay. And then, you know, Laura Dern was in the episode and I think they kissed or whatever the case was. That was a big moment. Because remember, the one that was really revolutionary back in the day where they was pushing gay storylines that was controversial on network television was Roseanne. Before she went crazy, because now she went around saying that she was SA'd back in the 90s by Joe Biden. Yeah, that's the latest foolishness she coming out with now. I don't know if y'all heard that, but yeah, Roseanne running around talking about she was assaulted by Joe Biden. Well, bitch, take it to court if that's what he did to you. But girl, get back on the meds. But before that, she was talking about, you know, she was pushing, you know, not pushing, but it was just revolutionary back when, I think it was Sandra Bernhard, and then they had the kiss between, I think, what was it, Roseanne and, was it Morgan Fairchild? That was big and legendary back in the day. We're not gonna sit up here and out Bad Bunny. Speaking of somebody who was smart enough to escape being in a relationship with a Kardashian Jenner, but I don't think Kendall's ever gonna have children. But anyway, let's move on with the rest of the show and let's talk about Ariana Biermann, because I want to show. I don't know if y'all seen this clip, but this was a mess. Oh wait, let me close this Billie Eilish story, because I want to pull this foolishness up. So apparently Kim Zolciak has come under fire because her daughter actually thought that Kim went and posted something on her social media and said that Kroy passed away, putting hashtag RIP on her Instagram photo. I ain't following her because she a damn you know, clout chaser. So Ariana said she doesn't physically have any effing words in a TikTok video posted on Tuesday, April 23rd, seemingly in response to Kim's Instagram post implying that Kroy, who's 38, had died. Now, while Ariana didn't specify that she was talking about her mom's social media posts, fans were quick to read between the lines. Now, on Tuesday, Kim 45 posted a black and white photo of herself and Kroy via Instagram stories. Hashtag RIP, she wrote, alongside 2 broken heart emoji. A link included in the post took followers to an article remembering celebrities who died last year. It's likely Kim was paid to drive traffic to the website. And this is not the first time she's done this, because I will point this out. She did that also when she was running around saying that Brielle was pregnant. Now, when Brielle, it turned out she wasn't, but when she went and said that Brielle was pregnant, there was a link to something where she clicked it open and it drove people to this website. Kim is notorious for doing this. So whenever Kim posts stuff, don't click on it so that way that bitch don't get no damn money. Because we know it ain't going towards her and them kids. We know it's probably going to all them injections she keep getting in her body and her, her gambling habits. So please hold while I play this clip of Ariana going in on her mother.
You guys, I had about a damn heart attack when I went on my Instagram. I physically don't have any fucking words. What? The DMs that I'm getting as well, like before I even saw the story, and I'm like, yeah, that. What would you do in this situation?
Well, here's what I would do in that situation. What I would do is I would cuss my mother all the way the fuck out, because I'm sitting there like, I love you, but what are you doing? Like, this whole need and thirst for attention and doing whatever you can and just try to drive people to a certain website so that way you can get paid or whatever the case is. Like, it's disgusting. And first of all, I don't wish death on people, and I don't play around with death and all that other stuff, but that's not like, with people like Kim, no kind of cool, no kind of morals, no kind of anything. And I just don't understand how people like her could just run around and just be doing crazy shit like this. And to me, it's like, you don't play around with people's death. I don't play around with stuff like that, like putting roots on people and all the mess. And Kim, you're just pathetic. I don't even know. Do any of y'all, because there's been word around that she's been trying to get back and do reality TV. I don't think she's going back to Roa. But do y'all even care to even see Kim back on TV? Let me know down in the comments below. But you know what? It's just like, Ariana girl, I know you can't help who your mother is because your mother's a pathetic fucking loser. I did see that the photo was removed from Instagram, but thank the Lord. I actually left the photo thing open, so the photo was there for y'all to see. Because I saw the article yesterday and I kept the photo open on my page. So I was like, let me just leave it open in case something happened or whatever. Because I was planning on doing a show yesterday. I didn't feel like doing one. But it also says that the estranged couple continue to slam each other in the public eye. Most recently, Kroy claimed that Kim has spent over $600K in luxury items in new divorce paperwork filed earlier this month. So have to be going back and forth. I guess it's going to be an on and on thing. But look, I'm not surprised by any of this foolishness that Kim is out here doing. She's pathetic. She's a loser. And it's just sad that this is what you have to deal, you have to do in order to gain attention. All right, so let's see. In the comments, it was like, nobody knew Biden in the 90s, Roseanne. I mean, look, Joe Biden was a senator, I believe, in the 90s. So Joe Biden been around for a long time. But I guess maybe, he wasn't a big name or whatever the case was. It wasn't until, like people started to know Joe Biden once he became the vice president alongside Barack Obama. But Joe Biden has been working in politics for about 1,000 years. I'm saying that because he's old. Yes. But yes, Joe Biden been around for a long time in politics. But it's like, we haven't really heard of Joe Biden until he became the vice president to Barack Obama. But yeah, I believe she's full of shit on that one. All right, so now let's get into this story. Let's talk about Amanda Seales, who had to check Shannon Sharpe. Now, I did watch the Club Shay Shay. I don't know if y'all did, but we're going to play the clips. But actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the audio and I'm going to put up the clip. Because I don't know, I don't want us to get flagged or whatever the case is, and for copyright and all that other mess. So I'm gonna just play out the order because whenever it comes to Amanda Seales, you need to hear shit in her voice rather than me reading it. So, outspoken comedian, actress, and social justice advocate Amanda Seales recently appeared on Club Shay Shay podcast and didn't hold back on a plethora of topics. It was Seales' outspokenness that made her the perfect guest to appear on Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay Shay this week, and as expected, the episode arrived with no shortage of interesting moments. At one point in the interview, for example, Seales recalled one of her first ever encounters with racism. She detailed the troubling experience which saw her get bullied and harassed by a group of non-Black peers as a child during a trip to Walt Disney World. Now, when she told this story, the people was in the comments because she said that she reflected on being called the N-word, being told she only got the opportunity because she's Black. And Sharpe basically chimed in and seemed like he was team mean kids. Talking about they just kids. They don't know what they doing. They hear stuff from the parents and just go off and say, all kinds of crazy stuff because kids are mean. Yes, they are. But where do they learn the shit from? They obviously learn it from the grown folks they hanging around. So you do know, because clearly, and I've always said this about Shannon Sharpe, he's never been one to have the bandwidth to handle these type of real high intellectual conversations. But the one thing I will say is that one thing he is doing that a lot of people aren't doing is he's getting these big interviews with a lot of people that go viral, and we end up talking about it. So this is what he said, and I'm gonna play the clip. Please hold.
And I was in the situation at Disney. I was there as the only Black girl, and there was a whole crew. It's like 12 of us. And so I was called an N-word right there while I was there. And I was also bullied while I was there because I was told that you're only here because you're Black. You can't really dance. You're just here because you're Black. So don't get any ideas. So that's what I'm being told by the other children. Does that suffice as racist to you, or would you want to call it something else? Is that just kids being mean?
The kids. So let me ask you a question. As a child, you never said anything derogatory? You was just this model citizen as a child? I mean, children. Now, we're talking children, not functioning adults. Now, you told me adults, parents were telling you this, or the execs or people that are in charge of Disney are telling you this. I could agree with it. But at 89, you're probably 8, 9 years of age. Maybe younger.
So you have no problem with the children that were cursing out Ruby Bridges and the Little Rock Nine? Do you think that was just them being kids?
Two things can be true. Kids can be kids and not function as an adult, and things can be wrong. And sometimes when kids say things, they're repeating what they heard their parents say. They don't know it's wrong.
So what about the children who are receiving it that know it's wrong? Does that not matter?
Yes.
So if I'm 10 and I'm receiving that treatment and I know it's wrong, does it make my experience of it less?
It doesn't make it
less valid.
No.
So that's what we're here to talk about. My experience.
Yes.
So my experience is that I experienced that and it was difficult. So that's the valid part of this. I'm not here to protect those people because it's irrelevant.
Absolutely, sis. And that's what I was going to say. It's like, yeah, and that's the thing I hate about people is that y'all will sit and protect a gaslighter. Y'all will sit and protect the people that be out there perpetrating the bullying and the negative shit, but y'all won't give that same energy to the people that it's like, well, wait a minute, because it's clear that at 10 years old, Amanda's family let her know as a Black girl, which is what happens in a lot of Black households. I don't know. Shout out to the white people that's watching. If y'all don't know, I'm about to tell y'all. So a lot of times when we grow up as children of color, we are sat down by our parents and told that, you know what, because you're light skinned or you're Black or whatever the case is, these are the things that you're going to have to prepare yourself for when you're going out in the real world and you're dealing with certain people. That there are going to be people out there that calls you the N-word. That there's going to be people out there who are going to say and do certain things to you and try to devalue who you are as a person. And with her at 10 years old being aware of this, we can't sit up in here and say, oh, well, these kids learned this because because of the parents or whatever the case is, or when they learn about bigotry and stuff, which feeds the situation that racism, homophobia, all the isms and things that's out here that is negative towards marginalized people is a taught behavior. It is a learned behavior. It's not something that you develop as a child. It's not something that's in your DNA. Nobody is born racist. Nobody's born homophobic. Nobody's born transphobic. Nobody's born a bigot. Bigotry is a taught behavior. And you are a product of when you're a child, you're a sponge. So you're absorbing all the things that you are hearing, whether it's subconscious or conscious, from other people, from the adults that you hang around, from maybe the parents of the friends that you keep, or whatever the case was. Because when I was growing up, it was like, yeah, I was sheltered in a lot of ways, and I would hear certain words and all these other stuff. Like, I knew how to cuss like a sailor when I was 5 years old. And well, one is because my mother's mouth was pretty ruthless as well. And number two, it was like, when I had babysitters and I would go to people's house, like, I would always hear things and I would pick up on those. And that's how I knew how to read from the older Black women, not only just them, but from the gays as well. When I got older, how to not manifest, how to nourish it and to really give in the art of reading. But yeah, so it's just like, but when you get those white kids that go and say that racist shit to you, it's like, yeah, because of their privilege, they're not told that what you're saying is wrong, or people kind of chastise you or whatever. It's because through life, they're told they could just say and treat people whichever way they want to treat them, and it's okay. So if I'm going to sit up and say, well, what you're saying to me is wrong or whatever, she should be allowed to do that. And it's like, I shouldn't have to take it and it just be cast aside as an excuse as, oh, this is kids being kids. No, well, that's the time when you got to go and you got to tell these kids what you were saying is wrong and don't say it again. But then you also have adults that work in these schools or whatever, especially when it's like you're a kid and you're looking for that protection from some of the teachers or whatever the case is. And a lot of these teachers who align with their beliefs, be it racism, homophobia, or whatever the case is, those kids don't get that protection. The bullies are the ones who are able to just get away with whatever, while the kid who was victimized is kind of looked at as like, well, suck it up, buttercup, and deal with it. Welcome to the real world. So So shout out to Amanda for giving, for feeling how she feels and giving into what she wants to give, or like telling her story and expressing herself as she should. Okay, so let me see. I was like, let me stop sharing this because I was pretty much done with that. And now, we'll get to that one in a minute, but I did see a comment. It said, I hear about a lot of racist teachers. I've never heard of him before his interview with Monique. Well, Shannon Sharpe was someone who's very popular in, he was a popular athlete. He was a football player, and then he found a space within the podcasting world. And I've always looked at Shannon Sharpe as someone who does not have the mental vernacular or the mental bandwidth to handle these type of conversations. But I will say that one thing that is good is that, he's able to get these high profile interviews with Cat Williams, which everybody's still talking about that one. Sidebar, Cat Williams does have a comedy special coming on Netflix, I believe next month. I hope it's actually good. Because, a lot of times when all this hype be around these certain artists and they get a stand-up special, the stand-up special be a disappointment. Some more, Monique. I mean, I can go down the list of Dave Chappelle. Like, I can keep going on and on and on. But anyway, he's been getting a lot of these high profile interviews, and that's great, but you got to be able to, I don't know if I would want a highly intellectual person, because a lot of times highly intellectual people be so intellectual that they can't balance that whole, that's another one too. I'm glad you put, he said Matt Rife. Although Matt Rife, child, I do want to do some nasty shit to him though. He is kind of cute. But, and he actually came to my job not too long ago. But I do feel like, I feel like Matt Rife's comedy is funnier when he does the interaction with the audience. Whenever he kind of does the whole call and response thing with the audience, and he actually has conversations with them, that's when he's funny, because it's like off the dome. Like, I like that type of comedy, where it's just like, it's like a ping pong match. Like, we're going back and forth with someone in the audience, we having a conversation, and then comedy shit comes out. Like, that's the type of comedy I like. So I think that's where he excels. Now, when he's doing his stand-up or whatever the case is, I'm like, yeah, it's all right. But whenever he's had his little banter with the audience, I always find that pretty funny. So, hold on, because I was like, do I have, oh yeah, I do have the thing. I just need to close out this other stuff. All right, so let's move on. And since we were talking about Amanda, let's talk about Issa Rae, because I was like going to bring that up as like a casual thing, but I was like, let's turn it into its own story. Since we already talked about Amanda dealing with Shannon Sharpe downplaying her bullying racist experience or whatever when she was a kid. So Amanda also opened up, they talked about Candace Owens, they talked about all that stuff, and like people, like black media and all this other stuff, how welcoming they were to her in, inviting her back to the cookout after all the shit she done said about the black community, because clearly y'all must be masochists and like all that type of stuff. Y'all like getting beat down by, the hierarchy, and then, they'll take them back. Y'all love y'all abusers. But, so she went on, and talked about Issa Rae. It was I kid you not, that segment went on for 45 minutes. I did post that separate 45-minute clip. Well, it's not really a clip. It's like pretty much a whole episode by itself. That is on my website if y'all want to go check it out and watch the whole thing on its own. But I do want to play a segment where she talked about Issa Rae. And she said that because I didn't even know they had issues with Issa Rae. I remember that I was hearing stuff about her on Insecure and how they were saying like she was problematic, that she was, there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with her. But it happens around the 26th mark of the episode. And she talked about a 2019 incident where she claimed security and Ray's associates shouted at her to leave an Insecure event in Hollywood at Anderson's demand. And what it was that Issa Rae's publicist wanted Amanda kicked out of an Insecure party. And now she said over the years that she tried to invite the women to things. She would get them gifts. She would invite them to her house. She would do all these other things to try to create this camaraderie. And a lot of the women would kind of just be like, they can't come. They really didn't want to, I guess, be friendly with her. And I also want to give Amanda a shout out for actually coming out as autistic. Which she says is like, yeah, when you want to provide somebody with, when I'm asking for a lot of information, it's not because I'm trying to go against whatever it is that you're saying or whatever. It's just the fact that sometimes, especially when you're someone who has, I don't look at autism as something like some people look at it as sort of like developmental issues or whatever the case is. I think she's someone who is highly intelligent and highly functioning. And that's what I think autism pretty much is someone who's just way too intelligent for their own good, but has issues really, what's the word? Like really interacting with people. I think sometimes when people are autistic, have a hard time being friendly, outgoing and stuff when it comes to people, or the way they go about it apparently rubs people the wrong way. But it's just them being them. So I don't see Amanda coming across as someone who is just a mean girl, whatever the case is. But a lot of times in Hollywood, a lot of people are assholes. But I do want to play y'all this clip. Hold on, because I had to pause it because I was like, I didn't want people to come in and wait, hold on. Because I was like, I did not want that to play, and then all of a sudden we get flagged. I got to do it the same way I did it before. So please hold. We'll play the clip. And here we go.
So I've never talked about this publicly because it has always been incredibly important to me to protect Issa. Because I know that Issa is doing something within this business that so few people get to do. Mm-hmm. And it's not something I desire to do. Like, I'm not interested in getting a $100 million production deal. Like, that's not a life that I want for myself. But I know that her role is very important. And so I've always protected Issa. However, there's just been enough instances at this point where I should have been protected by Issa and I wasn't. And one of my biggest problems that we have discussed several times in this interview is that I think people are going to show up for me the way I show up for them. Mm-hmm. And now it's at a point where my protecting of Issa has become turned on to me and something that people are using against me. There's a whole narrative that is completely false that people keep spinning. They keep saying, that I'm this mean girl on this set, that I harmed these people on this set. I just want to point out something very basic. How can I be a mean girl on a set that ain't my set? How? It's your show. You are my boss. I don't even have the capacity to be the mean girl here because you can fire me. So there's no way for me to be a mean girl in this situation. And I know some people that may buck up against like the confirmation bias that they've created, but it simply is the truth. At the end of season 1, I pulled Issa aside after this. I said, can we go to dinner? I want to take you to dinner. I took her to dinner. I said, I feel like you think I have something against you. And I don't know why you feel that way. Because we had been cool from even before this. Right. No, I said, I feel like you have something against me. And she said, well, I feel like you have something against me. And I was like, based on what? She said, well, I guess I was looking at you like your character. Am I that good of an actress? She wrote the character, bro. What? And so I said, you know what? So let's clean the slate, because that's not. I have nothing against you. I really don't. And if that came off, that was not my intention. But by the end of the show, there were just certain scenarios where I had to really always be the bigger person and be the balm to the situation. And then in season 5, she just came out her face at me one time too many, and I just chose to stop being the bomb because the show was wrapping. It was the end of the season. It was the end of the series. And I'm just not going to keep doing this.
So what did you do?
Nothing. I just stopped communicating.
Oh. I mean, I had a little rail out there, and he says that Issa is like most of her set is with women, camera people, et cetera, and that she's very empowering to women.
Oh, I disagree. She wasn't empowering to me. She didn't feel like she didn't feel like I deserved to be protected. I'm only giving I'm only giving a portion of the situation. Yeah. So, but that was my experience. Okay. And nonetheless, I have still always protected her because I felt like it was my responsibility to do so, but it is not.
And here's the thing, what people need to realize is that two things can be true at the same time. While you could be an advocate for women empowerment and vote for everything black, which she has said on the red carpet, you could also be a mean girl and a gaslighter. And the one thing I don't like about people in power is the fact that, okay, if you're gonna come into this space and you want to be the one that creates this empire for that way you can create black entertainment, which is the way it should be in a lot of situations where it's like we have those moguls who want to create opportunities for people of color and black folks or whatever and give them an opportunity to create their own show or their own movie or whatever the case is, which is what Tyler Perry really ain't doing that. He just wants to make his own shit and then do whatever he does with that. But then you got 50 Cent out here who's creating his own studio out in, I think, was it Louisiana? And he's got that whole thing burgeoning and that sort of thing. So if you want to create a situation where you want to do that, then that's great. But you also have the responsibility to protect your talent, because she even told a story about Keke Palmer, no good ass baby father brother Sharonis, who was on the show, and how he was trying to pop off and start shit with Amanda, because at one point everybody on the set was told not to even speak to Amanda. She does mention that in the thing. And she was also talking about how like she was the only one, because she said she felt it was for her to come and confront him on some other stuff, because he knocked up one of the actresses, as y'all know the story, on Insecure and got a baby with her. The one that, this whole story where he was trying to get custody and all this other mess. Word on the curb was he denied the child was his. And so she said that she wanted to bring him in, and she felt it was her need to come to him and tell him what everybody else was talking about, his whole situation behind the scenes, because everybody was talking about it, but nobody brought it to him. And then he goes and says, well, why nobody brought it to me? Nigga, are you dumb? Like, first of all, nobody's going to come to you. And this is how Hollywood is. It's a bunch of pussies running around talking shit about everybody, smiling in your damn face. All the time they want to take your place. Them backstabbers. Yeah, they're a bunch of damn backstabbers and sharks and vultures in this industry. They're not thinking about being your friend and protecting you. Like, are you? Well, clearly he is new, because he ain't did shit since Insecure, his little moment on that show. So, I think he thanked her, but at the same time, you was the same one talking shit and saying all this mess about her, when she was the one that was not that had the balls to come to you and tell you what everybody was saying. And she said, you need to claim that child, because everybody out here saying that you trying to act like you said it's your child and it really messed me up. All right, Mary. So it was like, yeah, you was doing all of that. And, so I also let's say, you know what? I love Lisa. I like Issa Rae. I like a lot of stuff she did. I like Insecure. I ain't really care for rap shit. Um, and I'm rooting for her to just continue to be successful and stuff. But girl, you can't be out here just being a mean girl and gaslighting and doing all this other stuff and, you know, treating your talent like crap. And I like Amanda. So it's unfortunate all the crazy shit that she's had to deal with. And I don't even think she cares if she ever gets a job back in Hollywood. Because, you know, Hollywood has not been a good experience for her, I guess we could say. So what do you guys think about this story? Let me know down in the comments. Oh, I saw this. I said judge rejected Trump's appeal for a new trial. First of all, you were not getting away with anything on those other mess. Just pay that girl. Tell the man with the money, come here and pay me. In the words of RuPaul, just give her money. Like, you are not getting away with this. We know you did what you did to that girl, that woman, sorry, and you owe her $83 million. So pay it up. Get your stupid ass followers to give you the money. Something. What happened to them ugly ass gold sneakers? Are they selling them at the Walmart yet? Like, pay her $83 million. Or you have to start, they're going to have to start liquidating your assets. So when some people get power, they think they can treat people however they want and get away with it. Exactly. And that's what I feel like is what's going on with Issa Rae. Is the fact that, yeah, just because you're a powerful person in Hollywood and then, you know, you create opportunities for so many people doesn't necessarily mean that you could treat people any kind of way. And just because, and that's why it irritated me when Shannon said, oh, well, she has a lot of females on her staff, but what does that got to do about what the hell does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Like, yeah, you have a lot of women that work behind the scenes, that are writers, that work on the show, all this other stuff. But what the hell does that have to do with how I'm being treated on this show by the staff and Issa and her publicist? Because at one point she even said about the publicist wound up calling her. Because Issa said, she went to Issa and had a conversation with her about the whole situation, about her publicist being a mean girl. Issa said they ain't got nothing to do with her. She said, I'm not dealing with that. That's between y'all. So then why did you call her up shortly after? Well, I don't know what the timeline was, but then there was an incident where she said she called her, Issa, and said that you need to speak to Vanessa, her assistant, her publicist. So if you ain't want to get involved, why the fuck are you getting involved with this? And so then they get on the phone. Vanessa goes and tells her, oh, I just want to let you know I don't like you. And when my response would be, okay, bitch, and like, what that got to do with anything? Like, okay, you don't like me. I don't care. She hung up the phone. The girl calls back. So you don't want to know why I don't like you? No, bitch, I don't want to know why you don't like me. I don't care. Like, the fact of the matter is, okay, just because you don't like me, that's on you. That ain't got shit to do with me. That's what I say about everybody. What you think of me is none of my business. So I don't care what you think about me as a person. You don't know me as a person. So therefore, your reflection of what you believe in regards of me, that's on you. You the one that got to go to bed with that. You're not going to put that on me. So then you getting mad because she hung up on you and you want to get it off your chest why you don't like me. Bitch, you go to bed with that. You deal with that. You don't like me? Okay. Suck the shit out my ass with a straw. How about that? I don't give a fuck. So there's like, I heard about Harvey Weinstein. Chill. I feel like it's gonna be some same shit similar to Bill Cosby, but he gonna get out of jail. I'm like, y'all could have nipped this in the bud from the beginning. Child, it just seems like the laws and stuff in America, what's going on, like this country is going to shit. This is going to hell in a handbasket. Okay, so how many topics we got? We got we got like 4 more topics. Well, after I do this one, the Katy Perry one, we got 3. So Katy Perry is facing backlash from LGBTQ fans after thanking Elon Musk for after showing support for a controversial Tesla CEO Elon Musk and his new Cybertruck. First of all, the shit is ugly. But I don't know if y'all seen it. But let's pull it up. I know it's taking a minute. Yeah, so talk about the side comments and shit is funny when they got somebody calling out canceled. Yeah, well, I thought that was the kid from oh my god, what's the name of that show that's on Netflix that was a huge hit? It's funny how, like, when I reference things and I just fucking draw a blank. But anyway, so in a post on Twitter, I almost called it the other thing, which is currently owned by Musk, Perry shared a photo of herself sitting in front of her army green Cybertruck, her hand placed on its bonnet. She unfortunately captioned it with "Thanks for the delivery" at Elon Musk, alongside a hashtag reading "Idol" in reference to her role as an American Idol judge. I don't know one person that's watching American Idol, but let's continue. In the replies, Musk was there to tell her the Cybertruck looks good, despite around 4,000 of them having been recalled by Tesla due to having accelerator pedals that stick when pressed down. He about to go out here and kill all of y'all. I don't know. Did y'all see that movie with Julia Roberts when all them cars started reacting on its own and crashing into each other? I would never want to use one of those Teslas or those electric cars. I don't trust it. I will just continue to pollute the world with gas. So it says, alongside Musk, Perry's comment section was flooded with an endless number of fans slamming the royal singer for publicly endorsing the controversial businessman. The 39-year-old's LGBTQ plus fans were particularly disappointed at her gratitude for him, considering his views on trans people. Since taking over Twitter in 2022, Musk has been accused of making the social media platform increasingly dangerous for trans users. In 2023, the platform rolled back a policy which protected trans users from dead naming and misgendering, though the policy was reportedly since been quietly reinstated. Now, research also found that anti-LGBTQ slurs skyrocketed on the platform following Musk's takeover, while Musk himself was incorrectly dubbed the term cis, as in cisgender, a hetero. Such an idiot. And we pretty much knew that he was a dummy, but I think it really was sealed when he did that interview with oh my God, Don Lemon. I almost forgot his name. I was like, yeah, we did that interview with Don Lemon. That's when we realized how dumb he is. Just because, and that's the thing, just because you have an empire and you're able to build a business, does that mean that you're intellectually, intelligent, intellectually smart? Now, research, they also say, in 2022, the billionaire entrepreneur was slammed for sharing an anti-vax meme with mock LGBTQ plus people, women, and the Black Lives Matter movement. And this is somebody who came from apartheid South Africa. But why would I be surprised? Because he's white, that comes from Africa, that would be spewing racism and bigotry. Unsurprisingly, Katy Perry fans have dubbed the singer embarrassing for her Musk thank you post. One person put, "Imagine marrying Russell Brand not being the most embarrassing thing you've ever done." Now that was a cackle. And they said that was viewed more than 1 million times. Well, that was definitely a read. Another person put, "Girl." Now another person put, "Piling around with Elon Musk feels like a political decision at this point." Added queer influencer Matt Bernstein. Another person posted, "Katy Perry is officially no longer part of the LGBTQ community." Now, here's the gag. Was Katy Perry ever part of the LGBT community, or was she an ally? Like, I've never looked at her as someone who is a part of our community or someone who should be associated with the gays. I just be feeling like sometimes when it comes to people like Katy Perry, this is what happens when you basic gays give anyone who wears a cute costume and pitchily sings to an up-tempo dance track produced by Dr. Luke, y'all automatically want to give them that rainbow stamp of approval. Rainbow Mafia, I should say, stamp of approval. And not every pop act that panders their music to the gays isn't an ally. And I feel like people need to understand that. And they also, some of her hardcore fans, who are called the Katy Cats, have described it hypocritical to call out Perry, but not other media celebrities who have also used the Cybertruck. Now, other celebrities who have been using the truck, but I don't know if they've called them out: Lady Gaga, Kim Kardashian, Jay-Z, and Justin Bieber. Personally, ain't nobody checking for Justin Bieber anymore. Jay-Z don't really make no music, but we all be side-eyeing him, especially all this tea that's been coming out with him as of late, especially with the Diddy stuff and with him allegedly having something to do with the unaliving of or death of some girl that he was hunching that was a close friend of Claudia Jordan's. There was a whole story that's been floating around about that. Kim Kardashian, child, she has no moral compass. And Lady Gaga, she's out here, she's out here selling prescription medication for Pfizer. Like that's where her career is, and doing jazz albums nobody cares about. So I don't know. I've never really looked at Katy Perry as somebody part of the community. Like, don't get me wrong, she's had a couple of bops. She's had some cute little songs or whatever the case is. But I've never really checked for her like that. And I personally don't even care about her music and all that other stuff. And at this point, I know she's talking about that she's got a new album coming out, and that's what she wants to focus on. This is her final season on American Idol. I mean, I don't know. I think she's gonna go more dance with it, and I'm sure the people are just gonna look the other way. And if it's a bop, they'll, they'll shed light on it. They'll enjoy it. They'll dance to it, whatever the case is. But she's never, child, first of all, as far as a pop act goes, she's not in my top 5. None of the artists not in regards to the artists that came out in the 2010s, like she's not. Yeah, she had a couple of cute little songs, but she's never really been that girl for me. So, but that's what I had to say. But if y'all like it, I love it. I guess that's all I can say about it. Okay, so I have some comments. Let's see. Felix says, I don't think Katy she doesn't have much of a personality. It's just sort of like, she just played up whatever image that I think the label, Capitol Records, had for her to sell those records. And yeah, she had a lot of really good songs thanks to her collaborating with Dr. Luke. But for the most part, she is void of personality. And she had the cute little residency that, if you're going to be a residential artist, doing something in Vegas, people are going to tune into that. But I just feel like as an artist, she's always kind of been meh to me. Her and Fagda gave me performative out. Are you talking about Lady Gaga? It's like, yeah, they do give like gay, very performative when it comes to being a gay ally. I've never really felt like they were allied to the community. All right, now speaking of people devoid of a personality, and this is not me speaking, this is according to Neil Tennant from the Pet Shop Boys, he's going in on Miss Taylor Swift. So Pet Shop Boys singer Neil Tennant doesn't think Taylor Swift has any famous songs, even though he's been presented with evidence to the contrary. Now, the Pet Shop Boys vocalist took a swipe at the global superstar while I don't know if she's that global, but we'll entertain that. While comparing her to the late king of pop, Michael Jackson, during a live stream conversation with The Guardian on Monday. Saying Taylor Swift sort of fascinates me as a phenomenon because she's so popular, and I sort of quite like the whole thing. But then when I listen to the records, for a phenomenon as big as she is, where are the famous songs? What's Taylor Swift's Billie Jean? He asked on stage at King's Palace in London. When music critic Alexis Petridis interjected to mention one of Swift's many signature songs, Shake It Off being one, Tennant doubled down. He said, I listened to that the other day and it's not Billie Jean. The West End Girls singer, who's 69, clarified that he thinks the Eras Tour performer, 34, has a great voice. I'll continue. But he believes her catalog leaves much to be desired, saying, I like the fact that it brings all these people together, even multi-generational, but I think the one disappointing thing is the music, not the lyrics, the music. Tennant's comments came 3 days after Swift released her 11th studio album, The Tortured Poets Department. Now, Page Six reviewed the 16-track record. 16? Child, is more than that, but okay. It's a 16-track record as a pièce de résistance, writing that the all-too-well singer is more of a heartbroken savant turning her pain into poetry than a scorned woman filling out a burn book. Child, y'all with these Mean Girl burn books, I cannot. So it was like, Page Six reviewed the, wait, did they post the same thing twice? I think they did. they don't be proofreading before they post stuff. They posted the same thing twice. But anyway, so it said the album covers Swift's 2023 breakups from her longtime boyfriend Joe Alwyn and her subsequent fling Matt Healy, and also includes nods to her current beau Travis Kelce. To have a successful pop career now, you have to have a series of relationships which are amazing and then break up tragically. I will say this: I don't like the whole situation of like artists having a look, but artists have been doing it since the beginning, right? But it feels like that's the only thing that she's known for, is that she just takes a lot of stuff that's going on in her personal life and she turns it into a song. So I would be scared, like if I was in a situation, if I ever came across, like if I was a heterosexual man and I was dating a Taylor Swift type, I don't know if I would want to take that risk, because it's like, I don't want you putting my business out here in these streets. But an artist should be allowed to talk about things that's going on in their life. But in regards to what Neil Tennant said, I know a lot of people going to look at it as like, who this old man think he is talking about stuff. First of all, the Pet Shop Boys were making music for 4 decades. They have a new album coming out. So they are icons in the industry. Yeah, they're not well known in the United States, but they're a global duo. And they've been, like I said, they've been making music since the 80s. So I get where Neil is coming from and what he's saying. And so, like, yeah, she is this big star, but is she on the level of a Michael Jackson? And that's in that standpoint. I don't think she is. I think if anybody who's on the level of like a Michael Jackson is Beyonce. She to me is the one that embodies that X factor in regards of amazing, memorable songs, can give a damn good performance, really gets them fans going ape shit when she comes out on stage. Like she could pull a Michael Jackson, but she just stand there in a stadium on stage for 5 minutes and have all them fans out there crying and hyperventilating and passing out. Because that's what Michael Jackson did in them days. And she has her demographic, like it's mostly white girls and a couple of gays. I feel like the Latin community is like, because I think was it Robert and I was having this conversation yesterday. The Latin community is like all the way at the bottom. And that's probably why then when they said she's international, it was like for where? I think maybe international in English speaking markets, but you're not international like a Madonna, where Madonna is not only big in America. Well, as far as like Madonna selling out stadiums or whatever the case is, she's always going to be that girl to sell out, and she'll have her fan base that'll support her and go to her different shows and all the other stuff when she needs them to go. As far as like going to Portugal, Rio, any parts of South America, Mexico, if she goes to all those places, I can't see Taylor Swift selling out those type of places. I just don't think the Latin demographic or Spanish speaking artists are really out there fiending for Taylor Swift like these white kids are. So she has her audience. And I'm sure there's a couple of black kids, because like when I went to the Olivia Rodrigo concert, there was a mixture of all kinds of kids there. There was like little kids, it was girls, it was gay boys, and it was a couple of girls of color and boys. So there was some black folks at the concert. So I'm not going to sit up here and say there's no black Taylor Swift fans, because there are. And I don't think it was shade on what he said, but it's just like when you are someone who's been in the industry for over 4 decades, I think you would know what you're talking about in regards of not something outside of the impact you have on a bunch of people who just sit and spend more time listening to your music as a homework assignment instead of listening to your songs and thinking, you know what, this song stands the test of time, that it's a Billie Jean or it's a Thriller or it's Want to Be Starting Something. Like I could think of a bunch of Michael Jackson, or if we're thinking about Madonna, it's not Papa Don't Preach, it's not a Rain, it's not, all those type of legendary songs that you hear from her. Open Your Heart, La Isla Bonita, Who's That Girl, which I'm mad she didn't perform that song on this tour. ¿Quién es esta niña? Like, why didn't you give me that song? That's one of my favorite songs. But this ain't about Madonna, this is about Taylor Swift. But so Neil said what he said. Let me know what y'all think down below. You Swifties, if y'all are in the comments watching or whatever the case is, do y'all think that Taylor Swift got those bops? Like she has one of those songs that will stand the test of time? Will y'all are any songs on the Tortured Poets, Dead Poets Society Department tease? Is anything on that album, like, will y'all be listening to any of these songs, or will these songs be standing the test of time 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years from now? And that's the way I look at it when it comes to artistry. What are those? Okay, so you really got everybody hyped and riled up at the moment because the endorphins is going, and everybody's feeling how they feeling when it comes to their fave when their music is coming out. But once the dust settles, once everybody, the hype machine has gone down and all the other stuff, do these songs that y'all want to sit up here and trot out like Shake It Off, will y'all be listening to that song and bopping to it and talking about it 15 years from now, 20 years from now, 25 years from now, 30 years from now, when you Swifties have got your kids and them not giving a fuck about your fave? Will they be listening to Shake It Off and caring? So that's what I'm thinking. Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so I said that's why I say she's not memorable. Could be that. And I also think that Taylor Swift is just not, like, yeah, she's boring. Like, yeah, she's able to, get people all riled up and stuff, but I just feel like as a personality, whatever, she is kind of boring. But some people like boring. Most of her songs focus on her relationships, or they all sound the same. And they said, but she's not memorable to me because she hasn't done anything that will make people remember her after 30 to 40 years. Roro says, notice how Taylor is never the problem in her relationship. Child, she makes music for people who are the problem. That's what I say. And she's an award artist, but I feel like her awards are paid for. Well, there's a lot of bullshit in politics that goes on in this industry. And then I saw like something where there was a lot of these artists be doing these Illuminati, selling their souls to the devil, these demonic visuals. I said, Chad, sometimes y'all be reaching with all this shit. I don't get wrapped up in that foolishness, but if y'all like it, I love it. All right, so we got 2 more topics, and then we're done with today's show. This is a lot going on today, but let's talk about Joel Kim Booster, who I know some people in my timeline was like, never heard of him. I'm like, some of y'all need to broaden your horizons and get to know, just like y'all be trying to shove Jared Carmichael's colonizing, industry plant ass down our throat. At least Joel Kim Booster is funny, and he's attractive. So he recently got candid about how being famous has ruined going to sex parties. He revealed this in a recent episode of Sip or Spill with Johnny Sibley, who another one who I actually love, and I love that his interview. That thing was probably the only thing that Logo got going on right now. It's like a YouTube series. I don't know if y'all saw it. I know he recently did one with Mark and Delicato, who was from Ugly Betty and is on the show Hacks with him. But he recently did one with Joel Kim Booster, who was also a recent guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race. So he says, according to Pink News, it said, fame certainly comes with its downsides. As 21st century icon and Girls Aloud star, Cheryl once said, slowly but surely, you start to realize that you can't nip to the garage in your pajamas for a pint of milk, even if you wanted to. Now Fire Island star Booster has added his take, explaining that it makes orgies really, really weird. A recent guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race, Booster appeared opposite host Johnny Sibley for local YouTube series Sip or Spill, where he was asked whether fame has made it harder to have fun at the orgy. He said, yeah, absolutely. There's nothing less sexy than being at an orgy and having someone come up to you and be like, thank you so much for what you've done for representation. It's happened many times. I've literally been inside someone and had them go, you're that guy from that movie. And he said, and it's doubtedly offensive because they don't know my name and they don't know the name of my movie. Sidebar, you want to know something? I would be so mad if somebody did that to me in the case of, like, look, you see me out doing what I'm doing, whatever. But bitch, at least if I'm gonna be blowing your back out, like at least know when you see me and what I'm in. Like, oh, I know that's Chris Avalon from Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Like, don't be like you that person on the internet doing that show. To me, I'd be more offended by that than the fact of you clocking me a sex party. Maybe that's an ego thing, but I don't know. So, he said Booster is admirably open about his sex life, even to the point where he didn't mind nude images of him leaking online. Now, speaking about it in his Netflix special Psychosexual, he joked, obviously I was angry, I felt violated, but then I found out they were put on a website for male celebrity nudes, and I was like, they can stay. In a previously interview with The Hollywood Reporter, the star reflected on using sex as a basis for much of his comedy. He said, I've gotten a lot of flack for sexualizing myself and other people and talking about sex a lot. As a queer person, I get dinged because we are, as a community, over-sexualized, and the emphasis is always too much on sex. When I talk about being promiscuous, I get gay guys in my DM saying, you're harming the community by creating the image of an oversexed gay guy. But on the flip side, as an Asian man, a lot of people see that as very empowering because Asian men are so desexualized in the media. Me talking about sex and the amount of sex that I'm having suddenly becomes this very powerful act. And I was going to say this, is that I totally agree with that because normally we don't see a lot of openly queer Asian actors or Asian performers who are seen in the light of sex and being sexualized. You saw it on that show Warrior, which I absolutely love, and I'm so mad they canceled it. That was on, the Bruce Lee, based on the Bruce Lee writings and stuff. That was on HBO Max, but now it's on Netflix. There's a lot of sex throughout that show. There's even a gay Asian character on the show, which I absolutely love that they incorporated that in there. And then we had Joel Kim Booster when he came up with Fire Island. You saw him always walking around in like crop tops and short shorts, and he was showing off his body and all something, rightfully so. Joel is a cutie. And we want to see more representation from different people in the community. Maybe gays are over sexualized, but if we're talking about gays being over sexualized, I guess the white gays are, because white gays, y'all are always going to have first dibs on a lot of things that's going on in the community. So therefore, y'all are always going to be propped up and laid, the red carpet's going to be laid out for y'all, and y'all can run around and just be over sexualized, whatever the case is. But when you're talking about marginalized people in our community, be it Black queens, Asian queens, or Latin queens, when you get an opportunity to create a space and a platform for like your shows, whatever the case is, it's like, yeah, once you come out and we see all of that stuff, now it's like, okay, I'm being sexualized. So when you slide up in them DMs, I'm curious as to what race is sliding them DMs. Probably white boys saying all of this. And it's like, first of all, on the other hand, I want to say this. What's wrong with being sexualized? I feel like as queer people, we should be owning and owning our sexuality and basking in it. But I feel like a lot of y'all are saying y'all don't want that out there because you're worried about what heterosexuals think or how we're perceived, because y'all don't want people to know that, you know, especially when it comes to the whole gay marriage thing. I was like, because I saw a post where somebody said, oh, well, y'all just so happy now. So we fought for gay marriage and all this other stuff just so y'all gotta have an open relationship. I'm like, well, how is that different than the straight people out here who be going to sex parties, who, you know, do the whole I forget what the straight people call their orgies. We'll just say orgies. they be going to orgies and key parties and all that legendary stuff, or have open relationships and stuff. Straight people, look, you had Neil and them soup coolers got 2 girlfriends. I ain't buying it. I feel like he really trying to wrap that up into something that we know he really want, because I truly believe she a sissy. But when it comes to, you know, straight people, there's no difference. Y'all, a lot of y'all be out here cheating, laying low and spreading their wide with other people, being a Rolling Stone. You got Nick Cannon out here with a dozen damn kids. And then recently we had Elephant Man, the dance hall performer, talking about he got 3 dozen children. He populated half of Jamaica with all his damn kids. So, you know, we're not a monolith. There are gay people out here who is like, okay, so what? If they want to have an open relationship or whatever the case is, whose business is it of that? We all know marriage ain't about love and shit. It's all about financial security or whatever the case is. Whatever you get out of the marriage, just know what you're going in it and what you're trying to get out of it. But you can't judge other people or try to lump us on there. Well, we're supposed to have gay marriage. It's supposed to be like this whole happily ever after. It's supposed to be this perfect little thing. And then if they find out things in our community, because I feel like every marginalized community do this, once our tea start getting spilled to the masses, then it's like, oh, we've been exposed, we've been clocked, and now y'all want to take away those rights. No, we should have the same exact rights as heterosexuals do, especially like if you're in a relationship with someone and your significant other gets sick. It's like, because I'm not married to this person, I can't go in the hospital, visit them. I can't make executive decisions based on their life and their health or whatever the case is. There's many layers to what marriage is. It's not just about just tying and not being with that one person for the rest of your life. That shit went out the window eons ago. Because like I said, even heterosexuals don't even follow that shit. So I say all this to say, look, that was one of the reasons why I was a little worried about, you know, being famous or fame-ish or getting well-known, because it's like, you know, I enjoy going to super happy fun time parties and indulging in multiple body parts and bodies and things. And then me not being a part, like me worrying about getting recognized, and I won't be able to do that anymore because somebody's going to clock you or whatever the case is. That was a fear. But we got to get over those things, right? I guess. So now, that was that. But we got one more topic. But before we get to that, let me read these comments. Only in America, shake it off and you belong to me. She needs to realize she has to go back to country pop. Well, yeah, because after a while, it's like the pop, being a pop star is made her bigger than what she intended, I guess. And it's like most people just don't care. And I guess, like, if you want that global impact, it's just like to me, it's like at the end of the day, Taylor Swift is no matter how you slice it, a lot of people tend to think America is a representation of the entire planet. And it's not. And I said, she is a famous domestic artist. She is not international. She is not worldwide. Yeah, she tours around the world, but her impact in other countries is not the same as it is in America. And it says about the award, she's the standard of what they want their artists to be. I got the tea that Grindr is only whites, etc., because of the no fats, no femmes, etc., because Scruff and other. Well, yeah, Scruff is basically. I've heard about that too. Scruff is more diverse when it comes to that. That's like when people always be talking about OnlyFans. I'm like, child, OnlyFans is so tired. That's why I go to JustFans. First of all, JustFans is owned by a gay man, and they don't make any qualms about what their interests are when it comes to the type of people that go on there and create content that is owned by a gay man, and it's for the LGBTQ community, well, the queer community. I don't know if there's straight people that use JustFans, but I think it's mostly gay people. And I believe also you get 80% of the proceeds. Because Matt, what's his name? Matt Cullen, who recently he did an interview with Spice of Drag Race, which was actually pretty good. He also did an interview. He went on a cruise for like a week, and he wanted to step out of his comfort zone, so he went around interviewing people, and he interviewed a couple of porn stars, the people that were part of the cavalry, whatever. And then he interviewed Dominic Ford, who owns JustFans. So anyway, so let's talk about this story, because I thought, speaking of sex parties, we need to talk about this shit, because this is y'all getting on my nerves. So I saw this on Out Magazine. I was like, child, we need to talk about it. So remember when gay bars used to be a safe space? Well, unfortunately, some people in the younger generations are struggling with the idea that gay bars should be private and for gay people, and are shaming men for hooking up in the bathrooms of such establishments. A recent post on Twitter went viral over the weekend when a young person, who probably couldn't get dick if you actually smacked him upside the face with one, took multiple pictures of two men hooking up with each other in a bathroom to shame them. Now, I ain't gonna show y'all the link or whatever, because I want to protect the identity, and this is some without consent type shit. And to me, it's just like, I'm not giving the guy who posted it any kind of attention, except to talk about it here. So the person put, I hate gay people so much, which at the time of writing has over 4.2 billion views. Get a room, a stall, something. The thing is, historically, and I don't think people realize this, gay bars and other gay spaces were invented and built so that gay men had a place to go and be themselves without risking being shamed, attacked, arrested, or worse. They were invented because homosexuality was criminalized, and the community needed spaces where people could meet and hook up in private. Now, do people not realize that the archaic sodomy laws only became invalidated across the U.S. a little over 20 years ago in 2003? If you can get into a gay bar right now, chances are you were alive when adults in America could be arrested and prosecuted for committing acts of consensual sex without, with an adult, another adult. And what people don't realize, like, I remember I would watch old documentaries and stuff, because when I was going to bars or whatever, I didn't deal with what a lot of my queer ancestors had to deal with, where at the time, in the 50s and up until the Stonewall riots, when that whole thing happened, and there were incidences that happened prior to the famous Stonewall riot situation, which is in its, I think 55th year or something or another, I think, because I remember when we had the big 50-year anniversary situation. So when the Stonewall riots and stuff happened, that was when people were fed up. They were tired of being, you were going to these places that were secret and underground, and cops would go in and they would raid these spots and they would arrest men. They would take their pictures. They would expose who they were and put them on blast, because a lot of these men were hiding in the closet and they were hooking up, and some of the men was dressing up in drag and all sorts of stuff, and they were exposing them, trying to shame them. Until the queens was like, enough is enough. And according to Derek Barry, people died. But Willem had to check on that, like, nobody died. It was like the shit lasted days and all this other stuff. So this is the irritation that I have with a lot of you young homosexuals, is that a lot of y'all do not appreciate the stuff that a lot of your queer forefathers have done to make you be able to go into these places where respect me for being non-binary or gay or trans and call me by my pronouns, even though you don't want labels on you, but y'all the most label whoring group of people under the damn sun. Y'all don't want to be labeled about nothing, but y'all all about the labels. Make it make sense and make up your damn mind. That's what I got to say on that. And then number two is just sort of like, who are you to go into an establishment where It's supposed to be free for the gays to be themselves, because this is what happens a lot. It's like a lot of times we never felt comfortable in straight places. A lot of us who are working those 9 to 5s, that, not me, but for the most part, a lot of gays, where they have to put on this facade of, you got to be straight acting. You had to go in a lot of these places. I don't know if they're still doing it now, but back in the day, a lot of times gays cannot be their authentic selves. So you had to put on this, you got the code switch, which is the thing us black folks know about. But gays had the code switch too. Excuse me. You couldn't go in, you couldn't be a full-on sissy self. So you had to go in and you had to put on this image of like you're straight, or, you couldn't get, it was all for gigs and jobs and money or opportunities or whatever. And then Friday night, once you was done with work, you would go to places like, let me think, what existed back when I was, going to the club. You would go to Splash, or you go to one of those other places for happy hour. You have your little drinks, Britney and them be playing on the screen, and then eventually the drag queens will come out and do a show. You have the hot bartenders, and you get to lay your hair down and be yourself. And yeah, if you happen to go to the bathroom and you had to go use the bathroom, whatever, and you happen to come across a hot guy and he wanted to hook up in a stall or up against a stall or at the urinal, you did your business. And there's situations where, this is what I always talk about when it comes to sex party etiquette. Like, I don't know if this was a sex party or if this was just like a regular club going situation. Regardless of the fact, who are you to pull out your phone to take someone's photo or record them without their consent, exposing them? Probably you don't even know what you exposing. One of them could have probably been in a relationship, and one of them could have been, their boyfriend kind of saw the video, and now there's a situation going on with them. Regardless of if it's cheating or whatever, that's none of your business, and it's not your place to put that shit up there. And I do wonder in the comments if people dragged him for posting that up there. What people need to understand, a lot of you younger people, it's like, I gotta respect people's situation, and who are you to go up in here and expose people's business and those other stuff, especially when we're in a time where a lot of our rights are at stake. When you got drag queen bans, and we also have 12 U.S. states that still have anti-sodomy laws, including Florida, Georgia, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, Mississippi, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Texas. And they said that where Texas, the aforementioned ex-post shaming gay men for hooking up in a gay bar bathroom is coming from. So apparently this happened at a Texas bar. So what you're doing is, not only are you exposing the people at the bar because you are feeling like a goddamn prude who probably couldn't get dick if somebody put it up in your mouth with or without your damn consent, or people probably wasn't looking at your ass. So now you mad. And now you're putting the bar on blast, which if some shady ass politician hears about it who's trying to make a moment for themselves, what's going to happen is, because I'm sure like the staff of the place is not aware of what's going on, they're busy working and trying to appease, serve the patrons. Now you're putting the bar at risk of possibly getting closed down. Then there's going to be one less place or safe space that gays feel that they can go where they can party and have a good time because you want a fucking moment on social media. Now, the history of the queer community is made up by our ability to have these safe spaces. Now, without gay bars, without gay house parties, without ballroom culture, without online queer communities, we would have nowhere to go. So I feel like if you want to go and you want to be in a place where you want to destroy people's safe spaces and you don't like, the callers coming from inside the house, if you want to be one of those infiltrators that want to destroy a lot of our safe spaces because you want to be a bitter ass queen, then how about you keep your ass home? How about that? Just keep your ass home, live vicariously through the internet, and stop trying to yuck motherfucking people's yum. That's what I need. Just stop yucking people's yum. Keep your ass home, because we don't need you out in our spaces trying to ruin our fun. I'm going to keep hunching people up in the club. All right, so let me read these comments, and then we're going to get up out of here with today's show. I was looking for, where are we? Oh, so it was Roro's comment. Says, straight folks do it all the time and make whole hit records about hooking up at the club. Are we grown or are we grown? Apparently not. These immature ass people. I always felt awkward at straight club. Me too. I mean, I can hang in straight establishments, but why would I want to? Like, there's times when I'm hanging out with my friends and I don't go to the straight clubs. I did that once upon a time and I ended up hooking up with a dude in there. So it's like, regardless of where I go, a straight club, a gay club, I will find a dude to get nasty, do some nasty shit with. That's just always been my MO. But I'll go to like straight sports bars with my friends and we'll have drinks and eat and the sports will be on and stuff. And that's a cool time or whatever. But if I want to go really go in and I'm going to my own establishments. I'm going to my own parties. I mean, clubs and stuff in New York, or I go to friends of mine's parties, so I know it's going to be having those type of, the way it's going to be those type of establishments where you have like a dark room or whatever. You said I was afraid someone would try to. Yeah, I've kind of always thought that in the back of my head too. Like if you're one of those, I guess if you're like one of those people that exude that kind of energy, or you are like I guess an obvious gay. If you go to those spaces, that is a fear that I know some people worry about. It's like, well, why are you in our shit? Why are you in our establishment? What you doing? You need to go to where you're supposed to go, and then you worry about possibly getting into a fight. So I totally get that. It said just for looking at a guy who I think is, because like I can't even go in a club and a straight establishment, and if I look at a guy too long, then people are getting insecure. So it's like you gotta worry about that too. It said Amanda Seals YouTube Diggy1 used to be her personal assistant. He says she's a nightmare when the cameras aren't rolling, and he's waiting for the day that Surviving Amanda Seals drops. Well, why don't he start it? Because I'm sitting there like, if Amanda Seals is out here being a nuisance, because but you know what, and you bring up an interesting point. Now at some point, especially like when all those stories about Megan Thee Stallion always getting into it with a lot of people that used to be on her payroll and be a hair makeup people, assistants, whatever the case is, at some point we have to look at the talent themselves and be like, sis, maybe you the problem. Like I get that you always be going, like people don't just off the rip just be out picking fights with you. Like I've never had that problem. Well, there be people that be trying me, but a lot of times it's like I don't, like, off the rip, I don't just get a lot of negativity thrown in my way. When people's about, you act like you all that, or you this, you that, or maybe I don't know. It could be the fact that maybe she's a light-skinned Black woman who is very opinionated, and people have a problem with that women are, and I will say, treated differently than men are. So like being a guy, we're not going to get the same type of whatever vitriol that an Amanda Seals does. But if her personal assistant's coming out spilling tea, don't be surprised if one of the some of these bloggers out there wind up getting an interview with him. I mean, shit, I'll talk to him. It says, sounds like this person has a reputation. It just went national working for the GOP and isn't afraid to throw his kind under the bus. I mean, does he work for the GOP? I'll have to look into that. But yeah, I just saw this article and I was like, I definitely had to bring this up on the show because this don't make no damn sense. How someone who, you have someone out here who's just spilling all kinds of and wanting to expose. Like I just don't understand who excuse me, what kind of pleasure do you get by exposing people's personal business, or if they're out here. I was like, what is going on? I think it's because I'm reading I'm looking at other stuff on social media when I shouldn't be. I should be paying attention to this. Oh yeah, I definitely am going to keep abreast of this story because they're talking about Andy Cohen, whatever. It might be creating a departure package with Bravo. I think he should, because this heat is getting a little too hot on him. What's going on behind the scenes with Bravo? I'm gonna definitely start looking more into that story. But we're not gonna do that now. We did a 2.5-hour show. And I feel like that's what we should lead, or I mean, we should just, depart. So yeah, it's sad that, we can't even go in our own spaces and have a good time without somebody coming in and just being a a fun snatcher and just ruining the fun. Like, mind your business. I mean, they're not hurting you. But anyway, any more questions, comments, and concerns that y'all want to address before we get up out of here? Because if not, I want to thank you all for watching today's show. If you have a chance, because I see a lot of people watching today's episode, and I appreciate it. Please hit that like button, that subscribe button, hit that share button if you can, and that notification button, so that way you can know when I go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I might wind up doing one this weekend. Don't quote me on it though. But yeah, I might end up doing, who knows, I might end up doing a show this weekend. But anyway, thank you all for watching today's episode. Tune in next time for a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Once again, hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification button so that way you know when I go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Love you all for watching. And until next time, ciao, darlings. Thank you all for tuning in.